All right, I started my recording then.
Cool.
And that means I do want to turn off the music I'm listening to, in case that pulls through my mic.
How loud of music are you listening to?
It's not that loud, but I still don't want it coming through.
Oh crap! Whoops! I got to set
spend like $500 on an extreme audio setup, and then you don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I need to get that money first.
We'll do
And
more art.
and also record often
Have
enough.
money.
Just have money.
We've already established this, dude.
That's a good point. That is a good point. If I don't record enough for justifying spending that much money on an audio setup.
You know, that's fair. I have not made enough money off of YouTube or Twitch to warrant getting a Go XLR and a Shure SM7B, but I fucking got them.
True, but you also stream like semi-frequently at least.
Yes, that is true. But do you know how much it was together to get both the mic and the mixer?
Too much.
That's a good answer.
But what's the exact amount of too much?
They were separately, they were about $500 each.
Oh my god.
You madman.
Separately.
Separately.
Jesus.
The Go XLR was about $500 and the mic was about $500.
My god.
And then that's not including some other stuff I've got, like the new mic arm that I got a while ago because my last one broke. That was about $100.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And then like the mixer I had before the Go XLR, the Focusrite, that was about $100. And then the countless other microphones I've purchased and don't use anymore.
I have a Yeti in my room. Not in my room, but in my house that's just not being used.
I have a Yeti on my cool collection shelf because it was the limited edition World of Warcraft one.
Oh, yeah.
I've never had to buy a microphone because Aiden just gave all of them to me.
You're using a snowball, right?
No, I haven't.
No, he's got a Yeti now. I think
hell
I gave
yeah.
him the Yeti X.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it is.
Moving up in the world.
Yeah.
Speaking of the snowball, I need to find that because I need to give that to Tyler, especially now that he's going to start streaming more frequently.
You didn't give it to Tyler already?
No, because he was fucking across the world.
Oh, that's
and
true.
then he just started streaming frequently last week.
Worst case scenario, I have to give him the Yeti that's not being used right now.
I have the snowball somewhere. I just don't know where the fuck it is. It's in a bag somewhere. That's all I know because I had it in a bag ready to give it to him. I don't know where that bag was. I haven't seen it since I moved, and that was almost a year ago.
You'll probably find that.
Probably in the garage somewhere. This was not the intro bit, by the way.
It wasn't?
No. Well, I feel like we should
Talking
use
about
it
how expensive
anyways.
all your stuff is.
I feel like we do that every time we do a podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, shoutouts to the one intro bit that was just Grant screaming.
I don't.
Oh
remember
yeah,
that.
I remember that one. That one was good.
I don't remember that.
We just scrapped immediately what we had prepared, and it just had Grant scream. And then we're like,
Oh,
that's it.
Yeah, we went through like an entire intro, and then you just said like, let's get the start. And I was like, ah. How do we start this?
Yeah, what do we do after that?
I don't remember how we start this.
It's been too long.
This is my show now, apparently. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna take the reins.
All right.
Unless if you want to keep it as your show, I don't know. Do you want it?
I don't think anyone has any ownership over this show.
Dude, this is news to me.
Normally, you're the one who like takes the reins with it. So
Well, I'm going. I guess suppose since you mentioned it, I will shift the crown over to you.
oh
This is your
Oh,
coronation starting now.
I'm the king now. Fuck you,
Now
Charles.
do your job and rule.
I won't rule, but I will bring us into this episode of Now Loading.
Hey,
Are we still the award-winning podcast? It's been a year.
I don't think that you ever lose your award.
That's fair. And welcome to Now Loading, the award-winning podcast. I forget how dumb of a fucking joke that is, and I just said that randomly one episode. Yes, welcome back. It's been a hot minute, hasn't it, boys?
It has been
Maybe.
a year and 10 months.
Exactly. And that's not good for not good.
That
So
is a
we're
nice
back.
continuity there.
We're back. At least this time we're better about it this time because it's not 2 years later, it's 1 year later.
Yeah, we got into the 2-year window.
So
approaching 2 years.
we're on track to being successful again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the part where I don't know what to do next because that's the intro done.
Transition.
Seamless transition. I suppose we can say this is our names for those who are new and are like, I don't know what the fuck this is, and we're like, hey, don't worry about it, we don't know either.
Yeah.
So I am Drinksaholic, also known as Dranks. We have Freebie.
Yurt.
Then we have Clover.
That's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
this
us.
is a podcast where we talk about games and media. Some of us more than others, because as I look at my list and see like 2 things for like every single thing.
Hey, don't worry, we'll carry the show.
Yeah.
Well, in my defense-
Specifically me.
Yeah, in my defense, one of the things I know we've all played, and that's a lot to talk about.
That one thing I haven't played as much as you think I have.
What's the last boss you fought?
I never beat one.
Yeah,
Oh
he
my-
never did.
Oh my
you
God.
remember when he streamed it?
God.
That was
Yeah,
the only time
That
I
was
played it.
it?
Yes.
Didn't even get to Margit?
To be fair though, after that, my capture card stopped working, so I couldn't really stream it anymore. And I wanted to stream it, and since I couldn't, I'll be able to on Monday though. I just kind of stopped
Should.
playing. I couldn't stream it anymore.
You should absolutely start streaming it again.
I will. I'm getting a fix for it, and it should be delivered on Monday. Then I can get back to like streaming. We could play Splatoon finally and stream that too.
Nice.
I just want to see you go back to streaming it so that I can eventually get to the stream where you find Melania and I could be like, yes.
I just want to
If
get
he
back
figures
to,
out how to get there.
I just
If
want
he
to
does
get
figure
back
out how to get
to
there.
streaming it because last time I streamed it, that was my most profitable stream I've ever done.
It was?
Well, fucking, I got like 20, 30 subs out of that stream for you fuckers.
Oh my God.
I don't know why.
Was that stream?
Yes, that was a combination of you, Tyler, and Bomb Diggity, and I don't know why the fuck you guys gave so many subs that day.
Was that stream? Yeah, that's right. I was feeling generous.
I remember
I wanted
getting
I wanted the number 1 slot because everyone kept beating me, and so I wanted to be number 1.
Who has the number 1 slot right now? I don't know.
It's either Bomb Diggity or Tyler.
I mean, it resets every month, doesn't it?
Well, I have the Stream Elements leaderboard as well. Ooh,
I'm gonna guess it's Tyler.
no, it's not Tyler. It's not you, and it's not the Bomb Diggity.
Oh?
Huh?
Fred's house is at the top of my gifted.
Oh, dude,
leaderboard.
no way.
Oh, that makes sense.
He's sitting there with 21 right now.
Interesting.
Trooper.
So
Mr. Moneybags over there.
I want his money.
Money
So
and shit.
it's nice.
I watched Attack on Titan and got caught up since the last time we did this.
You were
Good
caught
for
up
you.
on Attack on Titan?
Not since the last time we did this.
Damn. All right, talk about that.
I did it in like 2 months. Or
right.
like 1 month.
Now I'm interested, and now you need to talk about it.
I mean, I've been caught up since the last episode of the first part of season 4. So the last episode of part 1 of season 4, which is a mouthful to say, was the episode that I got caught up on. So the second part I watched as it was coming out.
Mhm.
Attack
yeah,
on
now-
Titan's over, right?
No,
No.
it has the final part. It has part 3 of the final season.
Okay,
Let's
'cause
hope that there's not part 4 of the final season.
I'm not caught up.
You should be.
I haven't. I'm still on season 1, and I'm gonna rewatch it.
Oh my God.
You-
The only reason I was watching the dub as it was coming out on Toonami
Oh.
because you told me to. I was
I
like, okay, I'll do it.
I would
Yeah.
not have told you to, did I?
No, you absolutely did. It was you who told me to watch
the dub?
that. Yeah. But I'm gonna go back and rewatch it subbed. Probably when it's over, honestly, at this point, just watch it all in like not in one go, obviously, but like, not have to wait for any episodes to come out.
I mean, I'm not a hater of dubs, but I'm surprised that you told him to watch allegedly you told him to watch the dub.
I think it was technically because that was my first anime.
Okay, that'd make more sense.
I think it was probably like, if I said that, then it has to have just been a convenience thing, because there's no way I'd recommend the dub for Attack on Titan.
It might have been the dub because it was fresh and airing for the first time on Toonami. Maybe that was it.
That was probably it.
But anyway, yeah, I watched that. It's kind of insane how over time that the show is completely different from where it started.
Oh yeah.
And um, people that I liked before, I now hate. Some people I hated at the beginning and I still hate.
Who'd you not like? No, who'd you like and then hate?
Uh, I mean, and not like as in I think they're a bad character now, as in like they were doing the good things and now they're doing the bad things.
So you mean
You
the
know,
entire
like
cast?
yeah, pretty much. But some of them are doing significantly less worse things than others. So yeah, but bringing like the Nazis in and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, dang, this is not the same as it was when it first started, and everything is like way deeper and more complicated. But I do like how
Yeah,
it
we're
is
gonna
how it is like complicated like that, and that there's so much foreshadowing in like the first and second seasons that you make no sense initially, but then you look back and like, oh,
Yeah. Like remember when Attack on Titan was just about giant zombies and now it's all about like political espionage?
yes, it's insane.
And then
You
again,
have a treat
one
coming in
after
for you,
that.
Aiden.
Nice.
God damn, I can't wait for Aiden to get to it's gonna be a while, but for him to get to the reveal in the final season part 2. Grant, I think you know the one where it's like, oh,
I'm thinking. Probably, yeah.
there's a lot of them. I'm talking
Yeah,
about
there
Aaron and
is.
Zeke specifically.
Yeah. Definitely. Yes, absolutely.
I think I like audibly screamed when that happened.
Yeah, that I didn't think that it would happen, but it happened.
Mhm.
You have no idea what we're talking about, Aiden, but it happened.
It's hard to try to talk about how crazy stuff is when it's don't want to spoil it because it's
Yeah.
like you go in
Well,
blind and it's like holy fucking shit.
I'll say there's a song. There's a song about it, and the song is awesome.
well, step one is I need to start paying for my Crunchyroll subscription again. Uh,
Why do that when you can just use Kishtas?
Yeah,
'cause
That's what I do.
I
I provide the
had-
anime.
I could do that, and I probably should do that, but I don't know. I paid for my own for a while, so yeah.
Right. But if
We'll
my
get to it.
if information gets leaked to you by casual means,
Oh, you bet
do not
your
turn away.
you
From an
bet your
anonymous
sloppy
source,
ass I'm gonna
aka me.
take it.
An anonymous source donated.
Like if it just happens to show up on a box on my doorstep, you bet your ass I'm gonna fucking abuse it.
What if
Okay,
it
I
shows
would
up in your Twitch chat?
Don't do that.
No,
Don't,
that's
don't do that. Don't do that. that is anyone could scoop it up then.
give me a second. I need to get out the card that has my social security number so I can just say it out loud really quick.
uh
Yeah, it is taking turns, and I'm enjoying it.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's good.
Um
I guess
I
we're
mean,
on the topic of people talk like two people who've watched the same thing. I've watched Critical. I got caught up on Critical Role.
fuck yeah. It's fucking good. Grant, you should watch it, but I know why you've given me your reasons why you won't, so I'm not going to force you to.
There's so
Yeah.
much. There's like I don't think I'll ever finish campaign 2 or go watch campaign 1 because there's just so much to it.
Oh, there's no need to go watch campaign 1 with the Legend of Vox Machina,
True.
which
That is a good
season
point.
2 is coming out in January, and season 3 got greenlit.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
No, Grant, you should watch Legend of Vox Machina though. If you
What
don't have
the
to watch,
heck is that?
that is a Critical Role's first campaign, but it's an animated show.
What?
It's basically the animated Spark Notes. of
Yeah.
Critical Role.
That
And
is
it's
cool.
it's on Amazon Prime, or Prime Video or whatever. Only season 1 right now, but season 2 is coming in January, and season 3 is coming at some point, and it's really fucking good.
That is actually cool.
And season
So-
1 only covers the first main arc, right?
It deals with some stuff that happened pre-stream campaign. That's all I know.
Yeah.
And then it like the Briarwood arc, which I think was like the first big arc of the stream show.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ended on Legend of Vox Machina season 1 ended on the cliffhanger of like a handful of dragons coming to Amon or whatever, which is where
Mhm.
season 2 is going to pick up.
Hmm.
It's very good. You should watch it.
I should.
Yes. But campaign 3.
Campaign 3. Ooh, it's spicy.
It is gone. I didn't know what the fuck they were gonna do with it. But I think as far as like the cast in general, I like Campaigns Three's cast a lot more. Or at the very least, I love like specific characters from the cast like way more. Like Laudna, I love her so much.
She's great. She's great. I
Dorian,
do.
it took me a second to like warm up to him, but
I
over
want
time, I'm like, yes.
I so want him to come back.
Yeah. It's not until he left that I realized how much I missed him. How much I loved him.
He was absolutely my favorite character from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I just because he was cool.
Mm-hmm.
That and he was played by the amazing Robbie Damon, which definitely helps.
Yeah. Which I found out
So-
that he's the voice of a character that around the time that Critical Role was or Campaign 3 was airing. Like beginning to air, like a character from Guilty Gear Strive that got revealed. I was like, that was who that is? He's fucking chaos. He's so good too.
Man, I think my favorite part of Critical Role. We've never really talked about Critical Role on here before because I don't think I started watching it until after our last episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just amazing that like the cast is literally all just voice actors. It's so fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
That would make it like amazing. Like a standard that no one can replicate.
Yeah.
It really is. Like it, and I feel bad for like other like dungeon masters out there because of like the Matt Mercer effect that people who watch Critical Role expect that.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone can do that.
Yeah. And with
That's
the voice
why I don't
actors
want to watch it.
specifically, like it doesn't help that I mean, it also helps that they have like some of the most legendary voice actors, you know, Matthew Mercer, Ashley Johnson, Laura Bailey, Liam O'Brien.
Oh,
Like-
fucking Liam O'Brien.
The biggest fucking names and
That's
voice
like
actors.
the biggest names.
Mm-hmm. It's craziness.
There was one thing that I didn't realize until I started watching Critical Role is that fucking how long some of these actors have like been in the game, honestly.
Yeah.
Like Sam Riegel, he was the voice of Donatello from like the early 2000s Ninja Turtles series.
Really?
Yeah, I
fucking
remember
clue.
that.
I did not know that.
What
Isn't
the
he a
heck?
voice for a Persona character, or am I thinking of a
Teddy.
different person? Yeah, Teddy.
I learned that recently, actually.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that. I did not put two and two together until like a couple weeks ago. And it makes me so sad because I don't like Teddy.
Oh,
Oh, really?
I think he's so fucking stupid. I can't stand his little.
But I love
dumbass.
stupid characters.
There is a line where stupid characters are okay. Teddy crossed that the first time I looked at him. It is not okay anymore.
I have other issues with Teddy, but the stupidity isn't one of them.
Though the fact that he's voiced by Sam Riegel, I think only in Golden. Actually, I think he's only the voice for Teddy in Golden.
Yeah, they replaced Teddy's voice actor in Golden. So
that does make me like Teddy a bit more. But
speaking of Sam Riegel, I'm thinking a lot about the intros, or not the intros, the ad reads that
Dude,
Sam does.
the Critical
Like,
Role
well, like-
ad reads are on another fucking level.
Because for campaign 2, I kind of like skipped them because I'm just like, I want to get into the shit. But then I started watching them in campaign 3, and they are the funniest fucking things.
Grant, if there's anything you should watch from Critical Role, it's the campaign 3 ad reads. They are some of the funniest fucking things you'll ever see.
I don't think, okay. I don't know if any ad read for campaign 3 will ever top Sam Riegel.
No, probably not.
So, Grant, here's what happens for Sam Riegel. So Sam does an ad read, and he starts like acting up, like as if he's like sick or something, and it's really weird. And then he's like, "I'm sorry, guys, I gotta go," and he just leaves, and everyone's confused because here's the thing: Sam doesn't describe what's going to happen for any bit, so they're like, "I don't know what the fuck is going on for." So he leaves, and he's just gone for a while, and they're all like, "So what do we do? Do we like someone else grab the paper and like read off?" And then a whole ass different dude dressed as Sam comes in. He's like, "Oh, sorry about that, guys." So anyways, and he goes to read the ad like normal, and I'm just like, oh my god. I don't think there's any possible way that like anyone could have possibly prepared for just an entire different dude
Claiming to be Sam Riegel, show up out of nowhere and do the ad read.
also calls himself Sam Riegel, calls Marisha like Maritha or like Marissa or something like that.
Get
Or
no
Melissa-
one's name
Melissa,
right.
that's what it was.
It's so fucking it. I don't know if this is true or not, but I think the reason he has done that, I think a couple times, is because he doesn't have a bit planned. So he's like, okay, I'm just gonna walk off and have someone else do it.
So just have some whole ass different person.
Yeah, like he does, because normally it's like some big like over the top bit, but like Sam Riegel, that's not an over the top bit. That's just a different dude. And I think that's just because he doesn't have anything prepared for that week's ad read. So he's
Which is fair. And what makes it even funnier is the fact that he's not there for just the ad read. He's there for the entire intro. Like Sam doesn't come back until after the like intro cinematic plays. So they just sit there with this random ass dude
the whole intro is like, depending on what they've got, like 5 to 10 minutes long, and this just random dude's just there the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
I don't think that I've ever been recommended something because of the ads.
They're pretty good. So funny.
It also helps that
some of them tell overarching stories too. Like you have to watch multiple ad reads to get the full story.
Mm-hmm.
When Rooster Teeth did Heroes and Halfwits, that reminds me they used to just like do a normal ad read, but then they started doing the ad goblin. They just have Jack come in dressed as like a Viking, call him the ad goblin, and just pop up at like at completely random times during their session and just read an ad like out of nowhere.
I like
just to interrupt everything they were doing.
Ad Goblin Jr. was my favorite because he didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Because like Jack would put on a show, Jeremy would just like snap his fingers and then just walk slowly. It's funny. Ad reads are funny if done right.
Yeah.
But campaign 3 specifically, what are your thoughts on like kind of the way the story's been going at this point?
Very moon heavy, which is not what I was expecting. Though to be fair, I didn't know anything about Exandria going into this because I didn't start watching Critical Role until campaign 3 started.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna at one point I was gonna go back and start watching like the Mighty Nine, but I had heard that one was over and that they were gonna start a new one here soon. It's like, just wait for the new one and watch that as it's going. Yeah, which I think was a good idea. Nothing against the Mighty Nine. I think that show's great. I'm like not even 100 episodes into that, and I don't know if I ever will finish it, but it's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't expecting such like heavy moon shit. To get into spoilers.
Well, I didn't
this will
think
mean nothing
so
to you, but
I didn't think so too.
I'm like the moon.
Imagine like the fact that it's just, I mean, it's also really out there shit. I'm like, how the fuck what does Matt have planned? Where it's like, oh, they look at the moon and there's a city?
Yeah, there's like a fucking buildings, a prison, betrayer gods or some shit.
Go into the moon. Moonrise.
I don't did you watch Calamity at all?
I think I got halfway through, but I need to go back at some point.
I just started episode 1 recently. I'm only like an hour and a half in, but like I can already see the ties between Calamity and what's happening in like 3 potentially. Because like an hour and a half in, they're talking about like a lot of moon shit. I feel like in Calamity is if I'm like reading the room correctly, anyways.
Mm-hmm. I need to go back and
interesting.
Watch mostly just because of like Brennan being the villain more so than any other villain in the actual like campaign. Like explosions is being heard, and it's like the fireworks festival has begun, and everyone's just like. I remember like Lou just standing up and just flipping Brennan off because of that shakeout.
Oh god, Brennan's so energetic and underrated.
Mm-hmm.
More people. I don't have time, unfortunately, to watch like Dimension 20 or anything, but more people should.
I just watch clips, and the clips are fucking hilarious. Just like from various campaigns.
Yes, but we keep straying away from actual campaign 3. So for campaign 3, they're like what 36, 37 episodes in.
I think 36 excluding 35, 36 if you include the one that's not on YouTube yet.
That sounds about right. It takes place on the continent of Marquette. Right? That's the continent, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I always get Marquette and Drusar confused. I don't know why. I don't know much about Marquette besides the fact that like the city they start in Drusar, cool fucking concept for a city.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a city on a bunch of like rock spires that like go into the sky, and like the wealthy people live on the top of the spire, and like the little shitters live on the like near the bottom, but no one lives at the base of it or something because it's in like a dense jungle. It's cool. Airships, gondolas, you have to pay 5 silver for to cross every time you use it.
They're dying for a membership that just pays like a
Oh,
year, so they don't have
that-
to pay the $5 like 5 silver fee every single time.
It's probably never going to happen, and it makes me happy that it'll never happen because I just find it really funny.
It's so funny to be like, all right, Matt just being like, all right, so it's gonna be 5 silver for the gondola ride, and everyone's just like, ah.
And then one person usually ends up paying for everybody.
Well, they're fucking loaded now.
They
so.
are, especially now. But yeah, it started with them just getting attacked by furniture. That's kind of what brought the group together, with the exception of 3 characters that came from Exandria Unlimited, which I still haven't watched yet either. And then they go off and fight monsters. I don't know how much I want to say without giving spoilers, honestly. If that makes sense. I know Grant's probably not going to watch it, but like I don't want to spoil it for other people that haven't seen it yet, really.
Yeah.
But it's very entertaining. It's very good. You should watch it.
It gets heavy later on.
Yeah, like episode 33 to 35-ish, I would say it's pretty heavy. Heavier than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, it's heavy. One thing I haven't watched campaign 1, haven't watched all of campaign 2, but one thing I know that they're doing differently is how they're doing like guest appearances and whatnot. Because like in campaign 2 is like, oh, this guy comes in for like an episode or 2. Robbie was there for like 16 episodes.
Yeah. Which he also was there for Exandria Unlimited the whole time, though.
Yes. And then he was also in Kaimal, which takes place after he leaves campaign 3. So Robbie really got his spotlight, which he absolutely deserves. But it's kind of nice to see people show up for like 4 or 5 episodes before they leave, on like the few guest appearances I've seen in campaign 2, which they're there for like an episode or 2, maybe 3 if you're lucky. But in like the 60 episodes I've watched of like campaign 2, they've had a lot more guests than the 2 they've had in campaign 3. But it's very good. It's very good. And it's a good way to, for me at least, to kind of like scratch that Dungeons and Dragons itch when like you're not in an active game, or like you have to take like some time off from playing.
Yeah.
Because it's just something to, like, because you still get excited watching other people roll the dice. So it's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah. It also always helps me just be like, every time I watch an episode of Critical Role, I'm always just like, okay, now I need to like look back at my old my campaigns, like the ones that it's running, the ones I'm preparing, stuff like that. Of course, no way I'm going to be like Matt Mercer level, but one can hope.
I have changed plans for my campaign a couple times because watching an episode of Critical Role is like, it'd be cooler if I did something similar to that.
Yeah, or at the very least, just having that reminder of, I would love to just put something in here that would make the party freak the fuck out, and it's just like, we're gonna cut the session there. Like, what do you mean?
One of the favorite things that I've done, I don't know if it's been done in like campaign 1 or 2, but like just introducing the big bad to the party and them not knowing it. I've done that. That's
a very fun idea. I know, like for Hunter's Moon, but the campaign I'm running now, there's the main like the big bad at the end. There's a particular way that I want to introduce him, and it's gonna be like, oh, that's interesting. Like I have like themes for every single like character that's kind of like him, and when I play his music, everyone's gonna be like, oh boy.
All in all, Dungeons and Dragons is fun.
Yeah,
Dungeons and Dragons is fun.
I don't know why this isn't on any of our lists, because we've never talked about it on the podcast before.
That's
so maybe
true.
we should talk about our experiences in D&D. Maybe not this episode, but
we've already gone for a while.
Yeah, so at some point we should consider maybe doing like a D&D special where that's like all we talk about one episode is like what we've done.
Yeah,
I would
maybe after mine actually gets started at some point.
Yes,
to be determined.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we would be nice to do an episode like that because we've all DM'd and played.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a fun thing to think about. Not only have we all played, but everybody everybody on this podcast is also a DM, which is cool.
Yes, some for campaigns that are currently running, some for future campaigns, some for past campaigns.
Yeah.
Ooh, random fact about our other group, Grant.
What?
4 of the 5 of us are dungeon masters.
Oh, really?
There's only one person who's ever been a strictly player in our group.
It's been a while since this came out, and by a while I mean like a few months. But Legend, a Dragon Ball Tale from Studio Stray Dog.
A Dragon
So
Ball Tale, like
yes, it is from an independent studio that consists of like a dude and a team of animators that did this for fun essentially, and it took I think it was 4 years to finish. And what it is a reimagining of the story of Dragon Ball within the span of like an 11-minute film, and it is fucking one of the greatest pieces of animation I've seen in a long time.
You mean they took all those 2-hour fights and condensed it down to 11 minutes?
Oh. There's that, but the fights are some of the best choreographed fights I've ever seen for anything Dragon Ball related. Which makes sense because yeah, it took 4 years for these animators to make this 11-minute video, but still. So essentially the idea is it follows the Tenkaichi Budokai tournament from when Goku, like after Goku like left to train, came back and he's much older, from Dragon Ball 1. And it follows not Dragon why did I say Dragon Ball 1? Dragon Ball the original as opposed to Dragon Ball Z. And it follows basically it's a little not like I don't want to say vague, but it's kind of just more of like, hey, what if Broly was this legendary Super Saiyan that kind of came in to just fuck shit up, and he's comes for Goku specifically, and then what if Vegeta pulled up and was like, yo, let's throw hands, Broly, I've been training my entire life for this moment. And the thing about it is that it's not just like it's a reimagining of Dragon Ball, but not with just like the fights and stuff like that, but with like the way that Super Saiyan is like interpreted. Because you have Broly, who's a legendary Super Saiyan, but then you have like different forms and like different uses of the Super Saiyan power that are things that seem they're so like creative and interesting. Like there's a point where Vegeta is like low on energy, so he uses those remaining Super Saiyan powers to create a sword and fights Broly with that.
That sounds awesome.
And my favorite thing is that it recreates or recreates or reimagines the original Goku Super Saiyan transformation, where you actually see like the kanji for heaven in the sky as lightning descends, and like Goku screams and like energy comes out of his mouth, and then it overtakes his face, and then his hair starts glowing, and his face is just black, and he looks like a monkey. And I'm like, this is the coolest Dragon Ball transformation I've ever seen in my entire life.
I mean, it's not just 30 minutes of yelling.
No.
But that's what I've come to learn and love from Dragon Ball at this point. 6 episodes of screaming at each other.
Oh, don't worry, there's plenty of yelling. But the fight choreography is the real highlight, and the way that it sort of approaches a potential a potential continuation of the story, and like the way it kind of takes different aspects from different arcs and melts it together in this way is like it's basically just an ode to Dragon Ball. And I think that's exactly what it's like introduced as in the film itself. But if you've never watched it, you need to, because it is insanely beautiful.
How many people worked on it? Because you said it was but like a fan thing.
Yes, I don't remember how many people exactly, but I know it's like a pretty small team of animators that worked on it.
Huh.
The crazy things, they did it for fun too, but it still took 4 years and a lot of money to come out.
Nice.
Like it was a project that's been talked about for a while, but it's only come out recently, and boy, goddamn, was it worth it.
I will have to watch that. I don't know why, but like my YouTube recommended has been full of like Dragon Ball Super clips, so I've just been watching them, not understanding the context.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to watch this. Does this touch Super at all, or is it more of like a Z thing?
It's more of just Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
With Broly thrown in there for funsies.
Always fun having that big slab of meat come at you.
Yeah.
That's an accurate way to describe Broly if you've never seen him.
I mean, kind of everyone's a giant slab of meat, but Broly specifically, he's a legendary slab of
Yeah.
meat.
There you go.
Why is his energy green? Because it's legendary.
Isn't he considered like not canon or something because he has only appeared in like non-canon movies?
Yes, I don't know if Super Broly is canon though.
Oh, that one might be.
I think he
I'm thinking of
is.
the original Broly
Yeah,
movie.
the original Broly is not. But I think Super Broly is, if I remember right. But it's still like a very self-contained story.
Yes, the Super Broly is canon. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I would think he was canon because I don't know the name of the character, but there was another like for one of the other universe Saiyans who all had like Broly's power in Super, like not a movie,
Yeah.
like the Tournament of Power, I think it was, or
Yeah,
whatever.
Caulifla and Kefla. I think that's the
Yeah,
one.
yeah, one of them. One of them is like another universe version of Broly or something, which is cool.
Should we talk about video games or do we got other shows and shit to talk about?
No, I think we should jump to games.
Yeah.
All right. How about we talk about the big ones as we've all played it? Let's talk about some Elden Ring.
Yeah. I
I
platinumed it.
played.
You
I played
platinumed
4
it?
hours of it.
Yeah, I did. The complete opposite of Aiden.
Yeah, I only played for 4 or 5 hours.
I
Yeah.
have 129, including what little of playthrough 2 I've done.
That's probably roughly the amount of total time that I spent on it. Even though I still did like most of I don't know. I feel like I just went through stuff quick while also doing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
There's so
how.
much. I remember so many times. Like I remember one time where I just pull up and like look at like how much playtime I've had. I'm like, only 8 hours. And then like again, where I'm like, only fucking like 20 hours. How much game is here? The answer is a lot.
Yes. I want to say that my first playthrough was roughly anywhere from 95 to 100 hours.
That's
Then
alright.
I think the next 3, because you need to beat it, I think 4 times in order to platinum it.
God damn.
I think that those took roughly a total about 20 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Because once it's typical Souls game where once you know how everything works, you can just blaze through the entire game, especially on New Game Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting to just like pretty much run from the beginning all the way to like the capital and then like up to the Mount Top of the Giants and that kind of like just do everything you have to do and then just beat the game like right away. It's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Did you like use all of your endgame stuff, or did you like try to be like, all right, let's just like take it easy, but use some of like the like lower tier weapons just for funsies?
In my New Game Plus stuff?
Yeah, your new game plus.
Oh, I absolutely use the end game stuff.
Okay, because I remember I did endgame like the new game plus, and I just hit a creature with Millennia's sword, and he died instantly. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tone it down a little bit because I want to actually take it easy.
I used the crap out of Millennia's sword.
Mhm.
It's so much
And,
fun.
and eventually, it's like, fuck it, waterfowl dance.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's what I did with some bosses that I had trouble with.
Yeah, the
I'm
thing
looking
is
at you,
that
Godskin Duo.
oh my god, the fuck, I dread getting back to them. I hate them so much.
Yeah.
But
Tip: throw sleep pots at them.
okay,
That will instantly put them to sleep, and then you can just take them on one on one.
all right, I know what to do next time I bring the boys in.
Yeah.
Uh, but I find that like once you play after the first playthrough, then like you can just kind of take it easy. Like I remember fighting Margit for the second time and just being like, all right, hell we go here we go. I know exactly what to look for. And I can just dodge everything and just kind of take it easy and actually like enjoy the fight as just like a fun little duel between me and this dude.
Yeah. Let's see. When I first started it, so and my first thought with it immediately was, okay, the game clearly wants me to go forward. I'm not gonna go forward. So I walked out of like the tutorial area.
And you go to an entirely different place.
Well, well, normally you go forward and fight the tree sentinel. I never saw the tree sentinel. I talked to the dude that's at the Grace there. I literally turned around and I went south, which is probably the good move. Um, because that is the easier area. And I just know that everyone was talking about how tough the Tree Sentinel was and how tough Margit is. When like I just went south and I just did everything there, I'm like, okay, where's the progress? Because I'm like, I don't think I made it any further in the game because I just reached a dead end after fighting the Misbegotten that's down there in the castle.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally went forward and then got to the castle and got to Stormvale and then fought Margit. I'm like, that wasn't that bad.
Mm-hmm. You
I
also
feel
did an entire different thing before you got to Margit, where I think
yeah.
most people go train Margit first, and then he tells you, no, go level up and fight me later.
Yeah, I definitely got OP by the time I fought Margit the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you make the mistake that a lot of people make and get transported to Caelid?
I did.
Ah,
I got into the crystal mine shaft, and I was like, why does everything kill me instantly? And the second I got to what I thought was safety, I walked outside. I'm like, why am I in hell?
yeah. Aiden
I
made
can't
that same mistake.
I'm like, I just wanted like because I went to that area, like I think that the dragon ruins or something like that, whatever it's
Yeah.
called. And I went there because I was like, oh, there's a twin blade here. I'd like to get that because I'm running a dex build, so that'd be nice to have. And I'm like, wow, I can't. I always wanted to get this cool weapon. Now I'm in Florida.
That's one way to describe it. Pretty accurate way, I'd say.
No, actually, no, it's a different thing. I think it was there was another thing that was kind of like that where where I went to Caelid by a complete accident where I was just like, okay, I was trying to find Nokron, the Eternal City. Instead I ended up in Ohio.
Oh hi. Alright. You were trying wait, hold on. You were trying to get to Nokron from Caelid? Oh yeah, never mind. I was thinking something else.
Oh wait, no, okay, I remember what it was because it was doing Randy's quest where you have to go to the Sofra of Rivers, and there was like a little elevator like at the end of it, and I'm like, oh, I go up, I use my stone key, and I go up there, and then I should probably get to Nokron, and no, I'm in fucking like Detroit.
Oh yeah.
There's a giant jar over there, and dude shooting massive arrows at me.
Oh, okay, so you made it to the massive jar. Did you ever fight the spirits there?
I did, and then I got my ass kicked, and I was like, okay, this is late game stuff.
Did you ever go back and beat them?
Yes.
Nice.
Thanks, Millennial Sword.
You pleased the massive jar.
Mm-hmm. He gave me a talisman that was never going to use.
I absolutely used it because I went with the Unga Boonga build.
Oh, oh, fun.
Yeah, where you just jump and smash everything, and so it's great to have ginormous heavy weapons and armor.
Yeah. Aiden, you didn't get too far in it, but how'd you feel about like the world?
It's very pretty.
Yeah. I remember
Uh,
stepping out into Limgrave and just being like, "Oh, I'm gonna love this game."
I think it's a big thing that I don't fucking like these types of games. I
Those
don't.
games are open world.
Souls. Don't like Souls games. But I'm here. I'm giving Elden. I'm gonna finish Elden Ring at some point, and I'm gonna fucking hate every step of it. But
You better.
man, is that world fucking pretty? Like
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
haven't looked at a game world and thought, holy shit, I would want to live here since like it's gonna sound dumb. Since the first time I looked at low res World of Warcraft in like 2004 or whatever, like it just hit me with like the same way. Like the first time I saw like Stormwind or whatever, it just struck me with like a type of beauty that I'll never be able to like. When I go back and play it again, like yeah, it's gonna be amazing, but it's not gonna blow me away the second time it did the first time,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which
Like-
sucks.
Like it's immediately clear that the artists or the art direction of that game is just godlike.
It really does stand above literally everything else I've played in a very long time artistically.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then just wait till you get to the later game stuff. Also, get ready to have that feeling of okay, this is the last part of the game, and then it's not.
You're only like halfway there.
Like 3 times, I'm like, okay, surely this is the last area. What do you mean I have to go somewhere else?
Yeah, that was me when I got to the capital the first time.
Really?
When I got to the capital, I'm like, all right, this is probably like close to the end of the game, and then it's like, oh no, you need to go to all these other places. I'm like, what the heck? And then yeah,
Dude, fucking fighting the fire giant and getting that done. It's like, okay, now we get to the end of the game. Where the fuck am I?
yeah. Then you're like in a tornado, and then like,
Why are there tornadoes and dragons everywhere?
yeah. Why am I like in the air?
I'm in the
Did,
Midwest. Oh,
now did you fight Dragon Lord Placidusax?
I did, and I was like, fucking, I can't beat this guy because he keeps kicking my ass. I'll fight him later. Then I forgot, so I have to do that second playthrough.
He, first of all, props to the devs for having such a hidden boss because there's no way I would have known to go down into.
Yeah, he's super hidden.
Yeah, he is incredibly secret. But he's tough.
Yeah,
I eventually beat him, but he's actually like probably one of my favorite bosses in the game though.
like
He-
something grazes you. Congratulations, there goes all your health, and you are down.
yeah, like he has like an attack where he like teleports somewhere else and then flies in with like this massive like red laser claw thing, and that'll like almost always one shot you. But
It's such a cool move, though.
it is. I'm like, I
'Cause
can't hate him because he looks so awesome doing it.
Yeah, because I remember that happening. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I was fighting Radon's dragon again.
uh, but Millennia,
Yes,
I assume you beat her.
yes. It's very rare. I pulled up to her fight and I was like, oh, she's just like me for real.
That she, as someone who has played every Souls game that FromSoft has made, she's hands down the hardest boss in any of the games that I've played. Harder than what people would say is the hardest in Orphan of Kos and Bloodborne. Like miles harder.
Yeah. And I remember like fighting her and then getting hit by her. I'm like, oh, she heals off of every hit. Oh, I need to really fucking be on my shit.
She would be okay if she didn't heal so much after every single hit. If she even healed half of what she heals, it wouldn't be that bad.
Like I'm just sitting there like, oh, the stratas don't get hit. Okay.
But her doing the waterfowl dance, that will like heal half of her health. If you somehow manage to survive it, which you won't. I still legitimately have no idea how to dodge it. I've never figured it out.
I figured it out, and I was like, okay, it's not that big of an issue. It's more of just making sure that I'm playing neutral the whole time, so I don't get caught in the worst possible place.
Yeah, I just I summoned. I usually tried to do it without, but I had one of the spirit summons. I never got a player to do it. I actually never summoned any players at all the entire time I played it.
Mm-hmm.
But I got Black Knife. Was it Tish?
Yeah,
And yeah, Tish helps out a lot in that fight.
true. But also at the same time, she also heals off of spirit, so I'm like, oh.
It's still
But
two people are better than one.
Yeah, but at the same time, Millennia was a fight that I walked in. I'm like, I am not getting the boys in on this. This is my fight. She is mine. And I think, I mean, it helps. I didn't have much of a pain with her outside of like the fact that she would do her fucking stinger the split second I pressed the heal button.
Yeah,
Like every single time.
yeah,
But
they read your inputs.
yeah, which I think it's like they read your inputs, but like it's randomized how like when during an animation it actually happens. But for me, it was just every single time the split second I pressed X.
Yeah,
I didn't have much pain with her because of the fact that I was running warrior. So it's a dex build where the entire build is centered around do a bunch of hits and also just don't get hit. And also I
Yeah.
play fighting games, so that helps with like neutral and stuff. But but I remember like finding her and be like, wow, I'm so sorry, strength players.
yeah, yeah. The Oonga Boonga build didn't help me.
Boonga Boonga does not befit you in this situation.
Yeah. Did you use any magic also?
No.
Okay.
Which I'm hoping with second playthrough I'll do a little bit more magic.
Yeah. I had to switch to like a dex build when I was doing it, but of course I wasn't built to do that the best. Like I actually went for a quality build. So strength and dex, but like I pretty much had to go full dex in order to fight her, and I wasn't built to do that, so it wasn't the best. But it worked out in the end. But one thing I heavily relied on was using there's like a crossbow you can get that does like a 3-round burst.
Oh, like the pagers one, like
I
the
don't
like
I
the
don't
one that
remember
shoots
what it's
fire.
called, but I used the 3-round burst crossbow and I put bleed bolts in it.
Oh my god. Yeah, that
And
would do it.
so when she did like her like bloom flower whatever it was in her second phase, I would just shoot her with that.
Yeah.
It actually really helps.
Yeah. Or she does her thing, and then I remember getting hit by that the first time. Like, oh, that just kills you.
Yeah, there's no surviving that.
You just die. But then you have to sit there and wait for the flower blossom to just go away for like 10 solid seconds. It's like, okay.
You use that time to just unload bolts into her though.
Or you can just be let me solo her, where you use that time to wave at the people that summoned you. I like her a lot.
Yeah, I mean she's a great boss. I think that the healing could be toned down a little bit and nerfed waterfowl, but that's about it. That's all I would change.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, pretty amazing game. I'd say that's my game of the year so far.
I think it just is the game of the year.
Yeah, I don't think there's really any competing.
What do you think about the boss designs? Because I know a lot of people complain about them.
um, depends on the boss. For the most part, I really like it. But I do fall into the category of people that I'm like, I hate the delays that they have on their attacks.
Yeah.
That just kind of feels like cheating
Shadow.
because it messes with your like it throws off your rhythm so much. I know that it's just um like you're just supposed to just like learn their movesets and all that kind of stuff. But when they're holding up their attack for like a whole 10 seconds, like I'm not really just like doing anything. I'm just kind of like waiting.
Yeah, shoutouts to Radon, who had one where he held up his sword and I just drank a flask in between them.
Yeah, like
It takes so. I'm like, dude, put it down for fuck's sake.
like it messes with the flow.
Mm-hmm. It really hurts with Market because it's like it's always the exact split second before you think you're supposed to dodge is when you're supposed to actually dodge, and he hits you every single time.
Yeah. I think that he's the biggest culprit of it,
Mhm.
but
But he
like
learns you a thing or
Horaloo, like Godfrey and Horaloo, they absolutely suffer from that too.
two. Mm-hmm. Godfrey's
Horaloo
not.
drove. What? Go ahead.
I was gonna say Godfrey's not too bad because you fight him before his actual like fight proper.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Horaloo, there's one specific attack where I'm like, what the fuck is that delay?
Which one are you thinking of?
The one where he like crouches down and like dives towards you as a super cinematic thing.
I was thinking of that one too. I'm like that move. I have no idea where the hitbox for that is, and the timing of that is so whack. It's so hard to dodge. Like I don't know how far out his hitbox reaches for it,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's pretty much certain death if he hits you with it.
I love the part where you fight Horaloo and he grabs you and he goes, Potemkin Buster! It's like, I didn't realize I was playing Guilty Gear. Okay.
He pretty much like turns into a pro wrestler.
Yeah, the first Elden Lord was a grappler. You think you're fighting a Souls character, but then you fight fucking like Hugo from Street Fighter.
One more thing. What do you think of the final boss? And I'll say that as the combination of the two final bosses.
The second I beat him, and then a cutscene plays, and the main music starts playing. I'm like, okay, this is it. Finally, that was so fucking hard, but what a good final boss. And then the fucking last bit pulls up, and he pulls out a sword. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I thought that Radagon was awesome. I'm like, that was awesome. That was
That's
an
such a good
amazing
final
fight.
boss.
Yeah,
And then the
and
Elden
then
Beast comes out, and he pulls out a sword. I'm like, I hate this guy.
I do not like Elden Beast. It was just if you could use Torrent during the Elden Beast fight, it would make it great.
Or if you didn't have to fight Radigan immediately after.
Yeah.
Or immediately before.
Yeah, if you didn't have to fight Radagon every single time you did it, it would be fine. But it was like, Radagon's fun. I just don't want to have to fight him every single time.
Hmm. They really bogged down like the final sets that I played of Elden Ring, but it's such a good game.
It is.
I like it so much.
And you need to keep playing it
Monday.
Monday.
I could on Monday. I'm not saying I will on Monday, but I will finish it at some point.
Yes.
Just like Golden.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Elden Ring talk.
Yes. And you want to talk about a game since you just kind of had to sit there and listen to us spiel about this?
Sure. Grant, do you feel like continuing to talk? Because there's something we've played since the last time we've done an episode.
Sure.
Halo Infinite. What do you think about it?
Ooh, it's fun. Though
Okay.
you'll probably crucify me for saying that.
No, I won't.
Wow.
Halo
I'm
Infinite
surprised.
is fun. Everything else about it could burn in hell.
I love just the genuine anger. Oh my god. I've seen
The
I have not
store.
touched I've never touched it. I've only seen the Axeman's videos on it, and my god, it hurts to watch.
The store is overpriced to fuck. The battle passes aren't interesting. Matchmaking breaks on a constant basis.
Have
There's
they ever?
like-
Did they ever fix big team battle matchmaking?
I don't think so. And they said they have 5 to 7 times.
It breaks every single time.
The battle passes. All right, the Breach battle pass was all right, but battle pass number 2 wasn't as interesting. They're trying to treat it like a live service game, and they're dropping the ball harder than EA did with Battlefront 2.
They're not updating it. That's the thing.
Yeah, they're just not
not.
doing anything more than
They're
anything
not.
else.
Well, there is an update coming next month, the winter update, which is dropping Forge, co-op, and 2 new multiplayer maps, which is something.
But it's also like next to nothing compared to most other games, and I think Halo games specifically.
As much as I shit on Halo 5 had way more stuff the first year after it came out. Halo Infinite, it's been almost out for a year, almost nothing.
Halo 5 was more of a live service. Did a better job of being a live service than Halo Infinite did. And Halo Infinite's supposed to be more of a live service.
Yeah, Halo 5 was not a live service, or at least it was never advertised to be as one.
It did a way better job though.
Fundamentally, I think Halo Infinite is a great game. The gameplay is fun.
It is very fun.
It is very fun. It feels like gameplay wise, I feel like it's the most fun I've had playing Halo since like 3 or Reach. It's a lot of fun. Yes, there are problems with it. There's desync. I've never really seen desync as bad as like clips I've seen on Twitter, which is pretty bad. But I'm able to still have fun playing it. But there's just not enough there, you know?
Yeah.
Because they launched with, I think, 3 big team battle maps and like 5 arena maps.
Yeah,
That's not enough.
Yeah, they did not launch with enough stuff to warrant all like the hiatus on updates that they've had. I mean, what they extended the first season like 3 months after like once.
Yep. And then they did that again for season 2. Actually, I think longer because they delayed season 3 till I think season 3 was supposed to be out by now, but it was delayed till I think January or February.
Oh man. How on earth did they mess this up so badly?
That's a good question.
I really do think, and I like to give the benefit of the doubt to the devs, that this is a Microsoft thing, not a 343 thing. That they were forcing them to get it out the door way before it was done.
Yeah. They probably just gathered what they had that was close to done and then just like put that out there. So it wasn't released in a completely broken mess because it wasn't. It wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't like it wasn't Battlefield 2042. That game's dead.
You say that, but I see that it has more concurrent players on Steam than Infinite sometimes. But you know,
really,
yes, which is not a good thing.
Yeah.
But Infinite just really did drop the ball.
Now could they make like a Battlefront 2 level comeback? Probably they could. Will they? Probably not. Battlefront had something else going on.
Possible but doubtful. especially when you think not even just Battlefront 2, but also like No Man's Sky. Like
No
there's
Man's Sky is another
it's
good example.
possible.
Yes,
It's possible. Doubtful it will happen with 343, or at least
people
really
are
Microsoft doing things.
people are banking, and I'm just on pure hopium with this, that season 3 is going to be a soft relaunch of the game.
That'd be good.
Which is why they're delaying it, so they can put more stuff in there, put more quality of life things in there, more maps, more things to make it feel like a full game. And I hope that's the case. Yes, it was cool that they released Infinite's multiplayer for free on Halo Combat Evolved's 20th anniversary. That's cool. The game was not ready to go though. They should not have done that.
Yeah. I bet that Microsoft was just like, hey, you've delayed this a few times, you need to stop. So they were like, okay.
Apparently, a lot of their problems was with the slip space engine.
Really?
Oh, it's an
Yeah.
engine problem?
That it doesn't make any sense. It was a lot of contracted people who came and worked on it, not like permanent employees, so no one understands how it works. Which is, and I don't know if this is true or not, but the current rumor is floating around that they're going to drop the slip space engine and move to Unreal 5.
That'd be nice.
Really?
Yes.
That's
Not
probably
for
easier to work with.
Not for Infinite, but for future titles.
Yeah, it'd be hard to change it for Infinite.
Like the Battle Royale game that they've been talking about since, forever ago. And then any Halo that comes after Infinite is going to be using Unreal Engine and not their modified like Halo engine that they've been using the same engine for Halo since like Combat Evolved, but it's just like modified every time to like work better and whatnot. It's like this. It's like baseline the same game engine, just different.
It's like Source.
Yeah, kind of. So I think it would be good for them if they switched over to Unreal, if it means they can make the game better and pump shit out faster. But then there comes the question: if they're not using the Halo engine, is it still going to feel like Halo though?
Yeah, that's the thing. But like, I mean, I feel like they could try their best to replicate it, but
I mean,
Halo's Halo.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. Well, I say it's hard to replicate that, but I think Splitgate did it pretty well.
That is true. Okay. You never played that with me.
No, but I think Splitgate also died, from what I heard.
Oh, it did? Oh, dang it.
I think it did, which is sad because it was such a fun game.
Yeah, it looked fun.
I don't know. I would like to think that the future of Halo is bright. We're just in the really bad era.
Yeah. I mean, it's never gonna die. It's big enough that that's in the never gonna die category. I would say.
Yeah, yeah. It's just gonna take time, and I never thought I'd say it, but I wish we were still playing Halo 5. I never thought I would say that, honestly.
Wow.
Yes, I do enjoy.
I mean, we could.
We could. I don't know how many people are playing it, nor do I know where my Xbox is, so that's a problem. But we could play it.
That's what cloud gaming's for.
I've never had a good experience with cloud gaming ever.
And just install it on your computer.
5 isn't on PC, dummy.
That sucks.
And 343 said they never intend to bring it to PC either.
Okay, that's surprising me because it feels like it'd be a good PC game.
It feels like it would be an amazing PC game, but it's not. And they never plan on it, which fine by me. But we'll get to this, or you'll get to this soon, so I'm not going to say too much. The campaign, I think, is the best Halo campaign since Halo 3, honestly. I think it's really good.
When co-op comes out, you have to do that with me.
It's coming next month in the winter update. So
yes.
It'll probably be you, me, and Tyler.
Nice.
Because I know Tyler
you should get in on it too. No response. All right.
Multiplayer is free to play. There's no reason you can't play multiplayer.
Oh, that's right. You have to buy the campaign.
Yeah, campaign you have to buy, but multiplayer is free.
I have to get to fucking buy the campaign. It's disgusting.
I'd say the campaign is honestly worth it. The campaign is good.
How much is it? Is it a full $60?
I don't remember. That's not Steam. That's the SWTOR launcher. Don't open that.
Same thing.
Halo. Ooh. It is a full 60 for the campaign. I didn't think it was.
It's a lot.
That is a lot.
It is on Game Pass, though. So if you've got Game Pass, you can just play it through that.
Okay, that's fair.
Another win for Game Pass. I feel like people show on Game Pass a lot. Game Pass is great.
It's so
Uh,
I don't know how it's that good.
it's like it's beautiful. I Infinite's campaign is a step away from everything else Halo because it's a open world
What
campaign.
the fuck?
Yeah, and I think they did it really well. I think the scale of the map could have been bigger, and I think it was originally supposed to be bigger, but Microsoft's like, get it out there. Don't care if it's not done or not. It feels like there are some things that were going to be expanded on, but weren't. And like, I feel like there are times where you can tell where things were cut out when they shouldn't have been, or when they shouldn't have been. For the most part, it is an open world, but a lot of like the campaign missions take place in like linear areas, like traditional Halo.
It's a nice combo.
It is. It does not allow Marines to drive vehicles, which is a good thing.
So they can't just drive you off a cliff anymore.
No, but you can do that to them, and it's fun. Surprisingly, the Goshawk is not in Halo Infinite,
Which is a shame.
it's a big shame because that's my favorite warthog.
It's like the best hog.
It is. It really is. But they made the transport hog from like Halo 3, if you remember that what that is.
Yeah.
Like actually usable. So like players can get in the back of that now,
Yeah.
which is fun.
It's great.
And in multiplayer it actually has like a cool feature if you're playing like the I don't remember what game mode it is, but you have to like capture specific things. You can actually load multiple of like the objective into the back of the Razorback and like drive off with it, which is cool. Most people don't know about it and don't use it, but it's cool. The campaign's on point. The music's on point. It looks like a Halo game. Sorry, 4 and 5. It just doesn't have the soul of a Halo game,
Yeah.
which is a damn shame considering that 343 just did an amazing comeback with MCC.
Yeah. That had an incredible comeback.
With like not only the multiplayer being fun and working, but PC releases. I said that weird. PC releases. And they're still updating MCC. They're going to add a Steam Workshop to MCC.
Really?
That's gonna be wacky.
Yeah. Like this is a great time to be a Halo MCC player, PC player. Cuz it's fun, people still play it, and they're adding mod support to it, and they've got a bunch of modders working directly with 343 to restore old cut content that was never added to the game originally.
Wow.
We're shifting from Infinite to MCC because there's a lot of cool MCC things to talk about. Did you two ever see, I don't remember what year it was, but like the old original E3 demo for Halo 2?
No.
It's a level that was never seen in the original game, and they are working on releasing it soon.
Ooh.
That's actually kind of nuts.
It is. They're also working on like for Combat Evolved, there was supposed to be like wildlife you could encounter on the ring. I think they're working on that as well. Cut flood combat forms, like really tall, I think they're called juggernauts or whatever, have like long tendrily arms that you can hit you from very far away that were in Halo 2. There's a lot of cool stuff happening with like MCC and like the older Halos.
It's weird that they're doing all this stuff for that. There's all this for MCC when they have a new game out that there could be work for. But
Again, with Infinite, it's like that. It's the engine problem. No one knows how it works, so they can't add stuff to it because they have to relearn it every time they get someone new to work on it.
Yeah,
which is dumb. But with MCC, it's like all the original stuff. It's not like changed. That's not true. Combat Evolved, for whatever reason, uses the PC port as its base because Combat Evolved had a PC port.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, for MCC, when it came out originally on the Xbox, like the Xbox One or whatever, used the PC port as its base, and I don't know why, but it did.
I wonder if it's just more optimized or.
No, Combat Evolved PC was awful.
Well, I didn't know that.
But that's also why like the PC exclusive maps and things like the Combat Evolved Flamethrower are in MCC.
Yeah,
which is cool. It's nice to see that the old games get love and that Infinite exists.
It's
I
the
just
best
wish
of both worlds.
I wish Infinite was better. I really do.
Yeah.
A lot of people do.
It really does feel like the old Reach days playing multiplayer sometimes, but you know how it go. Could
Yeah.
be better.
Yeah.
So that's the sad story of Halo Infinite and how I wish it was better. But when Forge drops next month, have you seen any of the Forge shit on Twitter?
No.
I've
Oh
not.
my god, it looks so fucking good. People are saying that Forge is going to save Halo Infinite, and I fully believe it.
I mean, it did wonders for Halo 5.
Like, I've seen fully working Mario Kart maps in Infinite's Forge.
Okay, that might make it the greatest game ever.
So, like, this is the best Forge system Halo has ever had, and it's technically not even publicly out yet. Yet, I think everyone can get it if they want it. But like, it'll actually be added to the base game in the winter update coming sometime next month.
I feel like this would just be like it gives you the engine, and you can just make your own game with it. if you can make a full-on Mario Kart in it.
Like, the scripting tools are amazing. Like, I've seen a Mario Kart, I've seen a recreation of Andy's room from Toy Story. A really realistic looking Doom level was recreated from like Eternal or something. It's amazing what people have been doing with Forge. It's technically not even out yet.
That's incredible. It's amazing how far it's come from just putting items on a map.
Yeah, because back in Halo 3, it was like, put a gun there, put a mongoose there. Cool, you just made a map.
Yeah.
And now you're like making full-on games. Mario Kart?
Yeah.
It's insane. So that's coming in the next update, and so is campaign co-op, which I think those two things are really going to help the game's population come back, along with like the new multiplayer maps. I do think it'll help, but it really does. I really do hope that season 3 is going to like turn the game around and make it good.
Yeah.
I do have hope for 343, mostly because like studio heads are like people who worked on like ex-Bungie people that used to work on Halo. Like Joe Staten, he's been there since Combat Evolved. He's now like the head of like 343, I think, or something close to that.
Yeah.
And he's also the voice of the grunts, which is kind of cool. But yeah, Halo. That's the state of Halo.
Eric, you got something you're itching to talk about, or should I go?
I have a big list, so I'll probably do quick hits on that.
All right, go ahead.
What? I mean, you can go first because I'll do quick hits on games when you're done.
All right. I got one quick hit and then one not so quick hit, but I don't know if I'll talk too much about it because I know neither of you play fighting games. I don't think.
I play Smash sometimes.
Played Injustice and Mortal Kombat, but I haven't gotten any more than that.
Yeah. I'll talk first a little bit about DNF Duel. I won't say much because the game's basically like dead at this point.
Nice. That's a great way to start this.
Yeah. So DNF Duel. Fucking really fun fighting. It is the fighting game of all time. It is some of the goofiest shit in fighting games I've experienced in DNF Duel. So DNF Duel is a fighting game of I think it's a roguelike or like a dungeon crawler game. Dungeon Fighters. And there's not much to say outside of it is some of the wackiest fucking shit ever. So basically picture a fighting game where your special buttons go all the way across the screen. And I main Striker in DNF Duel, who is a short-range character in a game full of full-range neutrals. But it's made up for the fact because Striker is a character that if you get touched once, you are dead. The game's not exactly alive right now because of the fact that as much as I was excited to see like the game, like I remember seeing advertisements and stuff and seeing like the character introductions and stuff like that and being like, oh, this looks like it's gonna be the most fucking fun game ever. And then watching specifically Sonic Soul play the game, I'm like, oh my god, this game looks like so much fucking fun, and it is. However, bad advertising and lots of bugs in which infinites exist, as well as not much communication from the devs, kind of put it in the waters.
I hate it
Boy.
when devs don't talk to you about their games.
Yeah. Or like, because what happened was, I think it was either before the beta or before the game came out, was not, they didn't talk about the system at all until like a couple days before release. And everyone's like, okay. And also during the beta, there was no training mode. So you couldn't like practice or anything like that.
That's rough.
You just had to figure it out on the fly.
You kind of just had to figure it out on the fly.
I hate that.
Yeah. So not the best thing, and I don't know if I'll play much of it because I was thinking like the thing that get me back into playing it more often would be like the moddings, like the mods, because mods for DNF Duel come through Game Banana, which is super easy to make, to not necessarily make mods, but to add mods, because all you have to do is just make a tilde mod folder in your like games files and then throw some files in there, and then boom, you have a new character model or you have some color palettes or something like that. And there's been some pretty alright mods. They modded Pepsi Man into the game.
Of course.
It's the funniest fucking thing. The troubleshooter, he's a dude that drinks and he has bombs for his weapons. His super with the Pepsi Man mod makes it so that it's a bunch of bottles of Pepsi and he like puts Mentos in it. It's the fucking greatest thing. It's insanely. I don't know who put so much effort into that mod, but I want to shake their hand. But I haven't seen too many crazy mods that I was super interested in, especially with Striker specifically. But yeah, it's a fun game. I wish there was more stuff going on with it because I like playing it, but not a lot of people are into it right now. So I don't know if I'll get back to it. The same cannot be said for Guilty Gear Strive though. So Guilty Gear Strive is the latest version of the Guilty Gear series, which is a very niche fighting game that does have a pretty, like, it has like a cult following, but it's kind of gotten a little bit more mainstream because of the fact that Strive was announced and it looks fucking incredible. And it plays incredible, and the system is a lot simpler, or like the way that they approach like the gameplay is a lot simpler, so it's a lot more friendly for people who have never touched a Guilty Gear game, which I have not. But I knew about Guilty Gear, and I played it, and I'm like, holy shit, this game is the reason why, because it came out while I was like still in university. It's the game that's been like, okay, I have to spend an all-nighter finishing this project because I was playing Guilty Gear all night.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, and the thing that I like the most about it is not even just like the character design. Well, the character designs fucking are godlike. Like my favorite character design of all time, Eno, who I drew yesterday for Witchtober, is fucking incredible. And all around the character designs are just excellent. And they managed to take the sort of Guilty Gear feel of old designs, but make them look reasonable. Like there's not characters wearing like 7 belts around their arms or anything like that anymore. Like they don't
Never know
look
when
like
you'll
Final
need 'em,
Fantasy
though.
character. That's a good point. But apparently they don't need them too much anymore. Like the redesigns are incredible. The art direction is incredible. Like one of my favorite things about it is just like if you counter someone with a heavy hit, then like the screen like the camera like shifts and like just the word counter in like all caps just shows up and takes up like almost the entire screen. And there's this like doo sound. It's fucking incredible.
That
But
seems
really-
very over the top.
It is. It's fucking great. And it feels so good when you hit that. But the thing for Guilty Gear for me is the fact that excluding the art direction, excluding the character designs and the music, Guilty Gear, people call it like a music album that comes with a fighting game. The music is incredible. For me, it's the Roman cancel system, which is like their primary primary like meter management system. So Roman cancels are basically you press a button or you can macro it, but it's like you press 3 buttons at the same time and you perform a Roman cancel, and depending on when you do it, and like when you do it, then that changes the kind of cancel you do. So you can do it to stop people's pressure, you could do it to slow down the enemy's movement and potentially punish them for something. You could do it to avoid getting whiffed punished by something, or you can use it to extend a combo. And just seeing like some of the wacky shit that people can do with Roman cancels and just like doing things like fast Roman cancels and stuff like that is so much fun. Like you don't really, it's not too much when you like don't know anything about the system, but once you know, and you've like played it and encountered it, it's some of the funny, like the most fun, but also some of the wackiest shit. Like when you have the grappler slide towards you, fast cancel into like a command grab and send you to space, and I'm like, oh, he could do that. But yeah, Guilty Gear is great. The only problem that I really have with it is its ranking system. So Guilty Gear's ranking system is it has something called the Celestial Tower, which there's floors 1 through 10, where you play a few games, and then you determine which floor you're on. And most people end up being on floors like 8 to 10. And then there's Heaven on top of that. And Heaven is basically once you win enough matches on floor 10, you go into Heaven and you take something called the Celestial Challenge, which is you have to win 5 out of 6 games, not sets, games, in order to stay in Heaven. But the problem with Heaven is that the range of skill in it is way too ridiculous. Like you can either fight someone who also just got into Heaven, or you can fight someone who won Evo.
So it just throws everyone into like a big mosh pit, pretty much.
Essentially,
and it's just luck of the draw which one you get.
Yeah, and what I'm at the point in my skill level where I can just like getting into Heaven is easy, but completing the challenge is insane. And the closest that I've got was fighting someone who was of the same skill level as me, who was also in like someone who was permanently in Heaven, or fighting someone where the matchup is just like deeply in my favor. Like specifically, I main Eno, and I was fighting Potemkin, who's the sole grappler. When I have Eno, who's got all of her mix-ups and all of her movement. You know, where I was playing not a fighting game, but a guessing game.
Yeah.
But it's not easy, and I really wish it was win sets as opposed to games. So
yeah, that seems annoying.
Yeah, so there's more of an actual chance of like learning the opponents like the way they play, and then you get a chance to actually like fight them, and it comes down to how good your adaptability and stuff like that is, instead of just, hey, hope they don't like random you out, or they just hit you with things you've never seen before and you just lose instantly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much experience with online fighting games, but I do know in like King of the Hill modes and that kind of stuff how I would find it annoying how at least at times when you get circled when you get kicked out and the person would that was the King of the Hill I wouldn't have much time to like actually figure out how they played, because they would just kind of, I mean, it was always someone who was really good.
Mm-hmm.
But they would just beat me so fast that I'm like, I don't know. I could never really figure out and adapt to what they were doing, so I get that feeling where you just never really get the chance to fully figure out what's going on, so you can take them on.
Mm-hmm. And then the characters that they play to is also a big factor, right? Like I've fought Celestial Happy Chaos, and that was like just no chance whatsoever. The thing about Happy Chaos is that his gimmick is that he has a gun that shoots you from anywhere instantly. Which he can shoot in between moves. And
that's annoying.
Yeah. And the way that they sort of balance that is that when he has his gun out, he can block, but a good Happy Chaos can just like completely ruin your shit. Like people have talked about like banning Chaos in tournaments and stuff like that.
Wow.
It's not easy, and I've tried like learning how to play Chaos, and I know how to play him, but Jesus Christ, my hands fucking hurt. He is not the hardest, but one of the hardest characters to play. And when you manage to do his stuff well, it's just a one-sided game, right?
You just wipe the floor with everyone.
Yeah, which you can argue is like that as well. Who is my main, but at the same time, is a character that, while she's really good when she's in her like win condition, she's not that good in neutral compared like against certain players or certain characters. And then there are matchups where it's just like damn near impossible for her to get past it, right? But the characters in Guilty Gear are all like, there's something about every single character that's like that draws somebody. Like there's Testament, your non-binary Reaper, who you can tell is non-binary because of their gender neutral. they're insane like neutral buttons. They have something called Sane State, which is something that if you hit someone with one of their moves, then you can combo off of any hit at all. You've got Bridget, who came out recently, who she's got her yo-yo that if she throws it, then she can like do a mix-up by flying towards it. You have, your grappler, Potemkin. You've got Soul's aggression. You've got Faust's like, what the fuck is this? And, like just throw out whatever, like random bullshit. There's something
Random
about
bullshit. Go.
yeah, there's something about every character that's always like fun and interesting. And with some characters like Chaos or like Leo, it's like absurdly difficult, like the most annoying thing to deal with. Like you have Leo who's got his back stance, which is his moves, his neutral buttons come out extraordinarily fast and he can just pass through you. So it's not just a matter of what side does he come from, but it's also a matter of what is he going to hit low or is he going to just overhead you and just rock your shit. That being said, it's one of my favorite fighting games of all time. Which I mean, I haven't played too many fighting games throughout history. I've played your Mortal Kombat's, your Injustices, uh, your Smashes, your Tekkens, stuff like that. But it's a very good fighting game that is especially good because its online is incredible and the characters are fun. And if you've never touched a Guilty Gear game and you've been interested, then I would highly recommend it. If you want to get into the story, though, that's an entirely different matter.
You bust out the encyclopedia for that one.
Oh, Wooly Versus had made a Guilty Gear lore video. It is 7 parts long, and every single part is 45 to an hour long.
Good God.
The story of Guilty Gear is the most complicated shit in existence, and it doesn't help because sometimes Guilty Gear's lore will just lie to you about things. Like there's even just like the question of who is Happy Chaos is like I need to like write an essay about this.
You need to like do an entire like month's worth of research.
Yeah, like I still barely know what the fuck the backyard is, and I'm just like, okay,
The backyard.
yes, I could try to describe it, but I will not do it.
I
Well.
was gonna say I don't think that we want to be here an hour.
Wooly's versus Guilty Gear lore video. It covers everything up until the end of the last game, Xrd. And then Strive is just like Strive is weird because the story of it takes place like 3 weeks or 2 weeks after Xrd's ending, which is kind of crazy because you see the character designs. You're like, these people look completely different. But yeah, that's Guilty Gear Strive. Fucking
Nice.
excellent game. Every day I try. I mean, not every day, but one day I will get into fucking Celestial and stay there. I should find another pod, I guess. Even so, that shit is so fucking stressful.
I've seen a little bit of Guilty Gear, and I mean, well, I'm not crazy into fighting games. It does at least seem fun. If I were to like want to get into a fighting game, I would definitely try that. I mean, I like my Mortal Kombat and Injustice just with how those feel, but it still looks like it would be a good time.
Yeah,
It wasn't
until I watched like professionals play that I'm like, okay, I need to get into this because this looks like the most fun game in existence.
Yeah,
like it's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
All right, what you got?
I probably
boy. Okay, so how much does everyone else have? Because I have a lot that I could go through real quick.
I've got a couple quick hits and one big hit.
I could spend like 5 minutes with whatever I have left, and that's it because there's not much else.
All right. I think I will try to go down my list and do it quick while talking about like two to an extent.
Okay.
I'll see how I can go. So first up, I played NieR Replicant. This was a long time ago, very long ago.
This was a long time ago.
Yes, it was a long time since we did this.
It's been like almost 2 years. We almost missed the mark.
All right, I was gonna say, did you cry? But I know the answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a NieR game. Of course, you're gonna cry. If you played NieR Automata, you kind of know what you're getting into, but it's what is it, like 10,000 years or something before Automata takes place.
Mhm.
And it's pretty much it's cool to play it because it kind of explains, but not really, how why Automata is taking place. But pretty much it starts you're in like a ruined town. It says that there's like a black disease, the black scrawl, that's kind of plaguing everyone, and then it like jumps super far into the future, but you're like the same person. It doesn't really explain that. I mean, of course, nothing is really explained the best. um, but lo and behold, your sister comes down with the black scroll, and then she's like uh kidnapped, and the whole story is like over years you're going to like find her, and just like the different playthroughs you have of like with all the 5 endings that you have. Initially, the game only had 4 endings when it first released, but I played the remaster of it, which actually added a 5th ending. But and the endings worked a little bit different in this because the first one you just played through the game normally, and the second one you load it up again, but it gives you some extra cutscenes. And it gives you a different ending. But in order to get the third and fourth ones, you have to get all the weapons in the game and then play it the entire thing again both times.
Mhm.
It felt like a massive waste of time, but it was still kind of cool. The last ending though is very cool. It actually has more of a connection to Automata. I won't really say much on that because it's very spoilery. Um, but yeah, if you like NieR, I'd highly recommend Replicant. Um, Moving on, I had Spider-Man Miles Morales. I don't have much to say about that. If you like Spider-Man game, you'll like Miles Morales. Play it on PS5 if you have it because it was made for that and it runs way better. I played a remake of Demon Souls. Once again, if you like Souls games, it kind of has some dated mechanics. You can tell it's their first one that they did. The bosses are very gimmicky in it, and I don't really like how the levels are set up. It's not like a big open world. It's just kind of like, okay, go to this area now, just play this little tiny section, and then now play this little tiny section. Like every world has, I think, like 3 sections to it, and it feels not linear, but I don't know, very segmented. You just play in like little bursts. Um, but yeah, if you like Souls games, that one's great. Deathloop, Deathloop, is so unique because you're trapped. Of course, I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone's heard of Deathloop, where you're a guy who's trapped in like a time loop, but he has to kill 8 people in order to break it and finally be free. And it's so cool mechanically. Just like you're playing the same thing every single time, but just finding every single new thing and how to get from place to place, how to assassinate certain targets, and just the unique ways you have to do it. And what's really interesting is that there's a mechanic where someone can join your game and try to hunt you down and completely throw off your mission. And it's always so much fun when that happens because you never know where they are. They're always, and they're at any moment they could just like come out of the blue, and it's yeah, and literally any time you're playing the game, it could say that you're being hunted, and I don't know, it's so much fun to be in that situation and also be the hunter in that situation because it's a completely separate mode that you can do if you just want to be a hunter. Um, yeah, just being completely ambushed out of nowhere while you're trying to complete your mission is awesome. Uh, yeah, I once again highly recommend Deathloop. Uh, there's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Mhm.
Metal Gear Rising, anyone? Yeah, if you like DMC5 and memes, you'll like Metal Gear Rising.
You
Pretty
mean the
fun
DNA of the
music.
soul?
What?
You mean the DNA of the soul?
Yes. Oh man. If you like Devil May Cry, it's awesome. If you like music, literally the entire there is not a bad song on that soundtrack. It is all like some of the greatest music I've heard. I don't know, that might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's also truly amazing.
Mhm.
Um,
How long?
it's actually really short. So if there's just like a short thing that you want to play and get through, just something to kill time with, I would recommend doing that. It it is pretty good with its story in that it is pretty. It is kind of deep, but it's also like you kind of have to look into it to fully get. If you just want to like play like a crazy over the top game and don't really care much for story, then you can do that. But if you want to look more into it, you're like, oh man, this is actually kind of there's like a whole lot to this actually. With of course the classic. If you've seen the Senator Armstrong speech that he has, you can really break that down and figure it out and like what all the meaning behind everything that's happening in it. Uh, let's see.
Alongside playing that game, I would also highly recommend that anyone watch Maxor's inaccurate summary of Medical Rising.
You can't not watch
It
that.
is the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Oh man, I cannot recommend that enough. That might be like my favorite pair of videos to ever exist.
Mm-hmm.
It's so over the top and ridiculous and funny. His channel overall is great.
Mm-hmm.
Where did I leave off? All right, yeah. So that's Metal Gear Rising. I love it. Guardians of the Galaxy, exactly what you'd expect it is.
Is it actually fun?
I enjoyed it. It wasn't like the greatest thing ever, but I suspect I never played the new Avengers game, but I suspect it's miles better than that.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about because I never played Avengers, but it was dog shit. So I was afraid that Guardians would be just as bad, if not worse.
I feel like you would enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy. It's really funny actually.
Is it still on Game Pass? Because I know it was at one point.
I'm not sure. I played it on PS5, but yeah, I feel like you specifically would really like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just overall fun. Like I feel like they did them right because like Drax in the MCU is kind of like an idiot, but Drax from like the comics is like kind of smarter. He's just kind of oblivious, not oblivious, but he doesn't understand a lot of things with like how Star-Lord talks. Like he doesn't understand idioms. And yeah, just the way that his humor in that and the chemistry with Rocket and Groot and just overall how with the gameplay, how you can do all kinds of moves with all the other Guardians is awesome. There's a mode in it where you not mode. There's a certain time in it called a huddle that you can do where you have everyone huddle up and they kind of like say what troubles they're having, like in the middle of a fight. Then you like try to like give them a hype, like you try to hype them up and give them a speech. You have to pick like the right prompt to like get them hyped up and ready to go. And then if you pick the right one, then like everyone gets supercharged and all this kind of stuff, and you play a random like 80s song, that's like in the game. One time I did that, and I got Never Gonna Give You Up.
That's really
But it's like actual licensed music that they have in it. It's crazy the amount of licensed music that they have in that game.
Playing fucking Guardians and getting rickrolled.
Pretty much. That's exactly what happened. Yeah. I really like Guardians. Scarlet Nexus. I wanted to like Scarlet Nexus. I really did. I thought it was mediocre at best.
Mm.
I don't know. It tried to be like a very character centered story, but I feel like it just gave way too much information at once. It was kind of hard to follow, and I feel like the combat and gameplay got old real quick. It felt like a very watered down Persona and like very short. I mean, it wasn't very short, but like for what it was going for, I feel like it should have been longer.
Have you watched the Scarlet Nexus anime yet?
No.
I hear it's way better than the game.
I wouldn't be surprised because I felt like it shouldn't have been a game. It should have just been like a show with like some of the story stuff, especially because the cutscenes in it are in the form of like panels and VO. There's like almost no animated cutscenes in it, which I hated. It was like painful to sit through those. It was just like think about like Persona in Persona when there's conversations, how there's like the portrait of the person, but there's like stuff going on like in the background with the character models and that kind of stuff. think of that, but take out the models and the stuff going on in the background. Think of it as just the pictures of the people.
Nope. Not interesting.
That's every cutscene.
Oh, fuck that.
Do the portraits at least like animated in some way?
No.
Oh.
Like it's literally just like still images. I mean, sometimes it'll like slightly change them, but it's not like their mouths are moving. It's like it's just a picture of them. I'm just like, this sucks.
Man, and I actually wanted to play that. Now I kind of don't want to.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, the gameplay is fun at first. I would say at least give it a try because there's a lot. It has a following. People really like it, but I would say at least give it a try. But if you don't like it at first, there's a good chance you won't like it later. I think if it's on Game Pass, then yeah, I would say go ahead and give it a try. But yeah, don't feel like you have to play it if you don't like it. There's that. Hitman 3. I probably talked about Hitman 2 on here before.
I think so, yeah.
It's pretty much exactly the same as Hitman 2, but that's not a bad thing. It has more like dynamic maps with a lot of levels and just like items, things that you can do. Overall, but the gist of it, it's the same game pretty much. Just new maps and layouts and all that kind of stuff. New scenarios, all good things. Not really a whole lot to say on that one. DMC5 Special Edition. Talked about DMC5 before. It just has Virgil now. And he's the best. And I mean, he is in fact the storm that is approaching. So
free super moves.
Yes. That's how I get as far as I can, as far as I do in the Bloody Palace. And just spam super moves. But yeah, Virgil and Legendary Dark Knight mode are pretty awesome. I just like the and turbo mode. Turbo mode is like actually I didn't think that I would love turbo mode as much as I did because it's such a small boost in speed, but it just somehow feels so much better. It's like what 1.2% in 1.2 times speed.
Any DMC game where it's like I play turbo mode and I go back to normal, I'm like, ew.
Yeah, I when I first turned that on, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be weird. I'm like, whoa, this is actually like awesome. And going back, I'm like, no.
Yeah, like when I got PC, when I got it on PC before a special edition, I was like, I need to put a mod of turbo mode in here.
Yeah. So that once again, just Virgil. Virgil is awesome. He obliterates everything in one go. If you like killing a million enemies at once, he's the character for you. One that I played super recently, Ace Combat 7. Now I don't know. Do you guys like fighter jets?
No, not really.
Then this is not the game for you. But it's pretty much like I not really a fighter jet flight simulator, but it's just kind of like an arcadey flying game. It's not. It looks like it tries to be realistic. It's not realistic at all. But it has a weirdly incredible soundtrack.
Yeah.
That has way better than it has. It's way better than it has any right to be whatsoever. Like it has some of the most epic songs I've heard in a game before. Though I did find out that the development of it was very rushed, and so the story in it makes absolutely zero sense whatsoever. Like I had so much trouble following it, and to this day I still couldn't tell you what exactly was happening. All I know is that some war broke out, and then they were using drones, and they're like, "Oh no, the drones are bad!" And I'm like, "Well, duh." But then they're like, "The humans should be the only ones to fly things." I'm like, "Where did this like moral message come from? And how does this apply to fighter jets?" But I had to like have this deep meaning. I'm like, I don't see where this is going. But yeah, I had way more fun with that game than I expected to. It's really crazy to just like fly around and shoot like a billion missiles at once and shoot down a bunch of planes. I don't know. It's just kind of mindless fun if you're playing on an easier difficulty. I'll touch on Fire Emblem Three Hopes because I've only beaten one of the routes. But if you like Fire Emblem Three Houses, it's now down. Well, then this is not the game for you once again. It turns into Dynasty Warriors pretty much. If you played like Persona 5 Strikers or Hyrule Warriors. This same gist where you're fighting like a million enemies at the same time and take them out in completely unrealistic fashion.
Yeah, that's always fun.
What makes Three Hopes interesting is it takes it takes the Three Houses story and it's pretty much like, what if this person named Shez is inserted into the story at this point, and it like completely turns the story on its head, because like all the pretty much you figure out the bad stuff that happens in houses like immediately, and so everyone it just like all changes from there. It's hard to talk about because it gets very spoilery very early, but yeah, if you enjoyed Three Houses and you like giant, like if you like Dynasty Warriors, Koei Tecmo combat, I would recommend it. Aiden, once again, I think you would really like it.
I already bought it, I just haven't played it yet.
Yeah, play it.
I need to finish Houses first.
I got two others on here that I won't touch on. I don't know. How about I have someone else talk about something else before I get to the two that I want to go in depth with?
Yeah.
But that was my massive list.
Nice. Yeah. I guess I go. I've talked to you guys about Ready or Not already, so you kind of already got the gist of it, or at least I know I talked to Grant about it. It's a fun. It's like a SWAT simulator type game. It's actually a lot of fucking fun.
I've seen it. It looks awesome.
It is. I've told you to get it before, and you said, I don't think I will. That's how I was. Then I got it, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, I want to play it now.
It's really fun. I don't know how much it is. It was like $20 when I got it. I don't know if the price went up. I think it's still in early access too. But it's like tactical SWAT type stuff. You can like customize your weapons and like your loadouts and whatnot.
It's like Siege, but realistic.
Kinda. Like you can like breach doors, break them down. You can take people hostage or kill them, both terrorists and civilians.
Yeah.
You can like blow doors open. You can add like a battering ram and smash them open. There's several different game modes, but the one I play the most is like bring order to chaos or whatever, which is basically just like kill all the bad people. Lots of maps, and the devs release like early access maps to play as well. I think the last time I played it was Tyler. We were playing on like an early access map that like the map was done, it just didn't have any textures. What? It was fun. It was fun. It just didn't have textures. It was just like a bunch of like gray and orange blobs. Since then the map has come out and I've seen the finished map. Map's great. But it's very fun.
It looks better, not gray.
Yeah, basically. It's still a lot of gray, but like, actual textures.
Yeah. Textured gray, not red, not flat gray.
It's a lot of fun. It's up to 4 players, and I would just recommend playing it, honestly, or looking it up. I made a video on it on my channel, and some of my friends have as well. It's just a good time. It's just a good time. I highly recommend it. It's I think I already said it was early access. I'm not going to say that again. Next, Across the Obelisk. Have either of you ever heard or played Slay the Spire?
Heard of it.
It's basically Slay the Spire, but with more D&D fantasy on it, and it's co-op.
Ooh.
So it's like a co-op roguelike deck builder.
Ooh. Oh, I think I've heard of this actually.
I've played it a little bit, but I really want to get into like the co-op aspect, and I've got no one to play with.
Well, sign me up. I don't know yet, but
I think it's actually a lot of fun, honestly, because I like Slay the Spire. I do enjoy like the occasional like the roguelike deck building. That's fun sometimes, but like Across the Obelisk is very fun because it's not like you have like one deck, you have 4 decks because you play 4 characters throughout the game, or at least if you're playing single player. I assume like if you're playing co-op, one player will get like 2 of them, the other player will get the other 2. I don't know. It's cool. It's very fun. I would highly recommend it. Devour. I haven't played it in a while. We should play it.
Yes.
There's a lot of new stuff that's come out recently. The people I play with haven't been wanting to play recently. I don't think I've talked about this on the podcast. I'm going to touch it recently because I just haven't played it. It's basically demon banishing simulator.
Nice.
It's a horror game with
My favorite kind of banishing.
proximity flicks chat, which is always fun. And you just kind of go around banishing demons and like it. I would almost kind of attribute like one of the gameplay mechanics to like Slender in the 8 Pages, where you need to like find objects and then like do something with it. Like there's a certain like 10 per map that you have to find and like destroy or something. And then once you've destroyed all 10, then you like banish the demon. And then like after you destroy each thing, it gets like progressively harder. The demon becomes scarier to look at. They hunt more often and like hurt you more. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Like whenever I see it, it looks like Phasmophobia, but like way spookier.
Yeah,
and I think the fact that you have to like actually interact with the monster instead of just, all right, I got my things, all right, I'm gone, kind of thing is definitely nice.
It is very much fun. I would honestly say I enjoy DEVOUR more than Phasmophobia.
Yeah, because I remember like DEVOUR is a game that I have and I've always wanted to play, but I just never got the opportunity because people
we should
always
fucking play it.
We should play it since the 3 of us have it.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fucking fun to play that.
Yes.
But yeah, that's fun. Not much else to say besides just fun hilarity proc chat shenanigans, because that's really what it is, and a lot of screaming. The latest map, or at least the latest map I played, I don't know if it's still the newest map that they've released, was like a western cowboy type demon. Fucker's got a gun, and I didn't realize that. So the first time I played it, the guy just fucking shot me from like down the street. I was like, "What the fuck hit me?"
Ghost is strapped.
Yeah, so that's good fun. I think we called him Big Daddy Cowboy.
Is that where that comes from?
That's where it came from for me, anyways. If I've said Big Daddy Cowboy within like the last couple months, that's where it came from for me.
Have you heard that outside of it?
No, I just heard it from like Aiden before. I've heard Big Daddy Cowboy or Big Something Cowboy mentioned before from Aiden.
Yeah, no, I've definitely said Big Daddy Cowboy before. I think it's actually the name of one of the VODs on my second channel where we were playing on that map.
Yeah.
Yeah, Big Daddy Cowboy. Yeah. 4 months ago. Fuck. There's that. I've got. Do I want to touch on? No, I'm not going to touch on that one. Then I got like my 2 bigger ones. I don't know, Keisha, you got any more smaller ones, or are you out of stuff?
I got one like tiny one.
Go for it.
I haven't gone too far into it. With Elden Ring being completed for at least one playthrough, I'm like, all right, I'll go back and play Dark Souls 3.
Yeah,
because I played it. I didn't get far past. I didn't even get like do much more past like the first. Not the first boss, because the first boss is right off beside the Fire Link Shrine, but the one before that, the like ice dude. Fords, I think his name is, or if that's what his name is.
Yeah, that's the second boss.
Pretty alright.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot easier to fight things when the delay is not there to completely fuck you.
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed in playing is that the loss of souls hurts so much more.
It does.
Because in Elden Ring, it's like, oh, I died and I lost my runes. All right. If I'm fighting a boss, I just go into the boss ring, grab them, and then get back to the fight. Or if it's like out in the wild, I just get on torrent, ride around, quickly like grab them, and it's fine. Yeah. In Dark Souls, it's like you lose your souls, you need to fight for your life to get those shit, like, to get that shit back.
Yeah, especially in Elden Ring, where like if you lose them, like if you die before you get to them, you can just go to like an easier area and farm and get them back. You don't have that luxury in Dark Souls.
Yeah, like in Dark Souls, it's just like you lose your souls. All right, get ready to. You better earn the right to get those back.
Yeah.
One thing I'm a little sad about with Elden, it's not even like a problem with Dark Souls. It's a problem that came from like Elden Ring just being like so much later down the line of like from soft games, and then just like the brevity that's been added to it, the character creation. I tried making Drawn Soulholic again. It did not come out well.
Oh boy!
So every time I see my character's face, I'm like, ew. But I like it a lot, and because I was thinking of going like a strength build to begin with, because that's what I wish I did during Elden Ring, before going back to Dex. But then I looked at Mercenary and I was like, nah, those scimitars are pretty good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They usually are.
Yeah, but I'm getting back into it, and I'm hoping to actually finish the playthrough this time. The main reason why I got back to Dark Souls 3 was because I kept watching a lot of people fight the Abyss Watchers, which
That's an amazing boss.
might be the coolest fucking boss I've ever seen in anything, or like one of the
It's
coolest boss I've ever seen in anything.
it's seriously amazing.
Yeah,
The Abyss Watchers.
Aiden, do you know anything about the Abyss Watchers?
Nope.
Okay, so picture this. You pull up to the boss arena, and the boss is fighting himself. And then he turns to you, then he fights you. Then partway through the fight, another one version of him comes out to fight you. And then later on in the fight, another version of him comes out to fight himself.
Yeah,
That just sounds confusing.
it's cool though.
It's so fucking cool. And also, I went to the second I heard the music, I'm like, I need this. I need this so badly.
That's an awesome song.
It's one of those songs where I don't know if you have this too much when you do D&D prep, or you hear a song, you're like, this is going in a session somewhere.
Yes, that's
God.
like all my music.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
did you get the DLC?
I did not.
You
I-
need to.
I
It
need
is
to.
seriously some of the greatest DLC of anything I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
It's seriously incredible, especially the Ringed City.
That is a
The
bold claim you're making.
the Ringed City is incredibly difficult, but it is so good. Like, I cannot exaggerate. It was supposed to be like the final Dark Souls content, so they went all out on it.
Mm.
But it is seriously incredible.
All right, I'll make sure to cop that as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, not much else to say outside of it. Outside of I'm enjoying it so far, and I'll try to beat it as soon as I can. Especially because I have friends that play Elden Ring that are like Souls fans. They're like, I don't like Elden Ring. It's just not Dark Souls 3, or it's just not Bloodborne. I'm like, all right, let me see for myself.
Yeah. Well, I think that Elden Ring is the best because the sheer amount of content and how there's not really anything in it that's just bad. That's bad. I think that overall, like, I enjoy the bosses in Dark Souls 3 more, but just the overall Elden Ring experience is better.
Mm-hmm. But it's also really unfair comparison because those games focus on like entirely different things.
Yeah. With Elden Ring being open world, it can kind of do a lot more. Well, the Dark Souls is like a little bit like more focused because it's more linear.
Yeah, and I heard that it's like the main thing is like Dark Souls, like when it comes to bosses, rewards you for like your tenacity, while Elden Ring rewards you for being like, all right, I'll pull up later with something completely different and see how
Yeah.
this goes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Nice. Well, we're going to talk about one of my favorite games ever. The remake of it, anyways. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond.
Ah, yeah.
I love Pokemon Diamond. It was like one of my games ever. And Brilliant Diamond, it's a game.
Ever?
It's a game.
Oh,
I mean, it is the original game. It is lovely to play my favorite game again 15 years later. It just doesn't look right.
I can understand that.
Like, take Sword and Shield. It wasn't the best Pokemon game they've ever made. Looks great. So take that and then not do that for probably the most anticipated Pokemon remake ever. Diamond, like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, really leaned heavily on like the chibi look, which was not. I don't think that was their best idea.
Looks like they took the sprites from it and just turned it into what it would look like in a 3D model. Not like what it would look like in a realistic model, just like take the sprite and just make it 3D.
Yeah, it's not the best.
what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
What? Oh, are you looking at pictures of it?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, it
Like-
absolutely looks like that.
Battles look fine. Battles are like full on 3D models and everything, but like the world walking around, nah, mate. But it at its core, it is still the original Diamond and Pearl from 2006. So I can't really complain about that. Those games are my favorite Pokemon game. They're a lot of fun to play. And there is a couple upsides to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. One of which being a special event from the original Diamond and Pearl that played differently over in the West compared to how it was released in Japan. Arceus, the Pokemon god. They got like a full-on event over in Japan. Here in US, they just give it to us. You went to like, I think it was Toys R Us, and you just get it. But like in the original game in Japan, you got like an item.
Toys R Us.
Is Toys R Us still around?
I don't know.
Well, I think they're bringing it back, but we don't have one here.
I know what it is now. Our Toys R Us turned into an alcohol store.
It did, yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. We were joking about that.
It is big in there too. Not the point. I think like in the US, you just went to like Toys R Us. I think it was Toys R Us. I don't remember. I did this. I remember doing this, and you just get Arceus. In Japan, you got like an item, and then you had to take this item to like a certain place, and then you actually had to battle and catch Arceus.
Oh.
Imagine accidentally killing Arceus.
I think it had one of those things where it doesn't despawn if you beat it. You can keep retrying, which is nice.
That's
but
nice.
They threw that
thing.
They threw that event into like the base version of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, so now everyone can go through that event, which is nice. Because never got to experience that. Now there's something to this game that's 15 years old at this point that I can do that I've never done before, which is pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
That's
let's see. But and it isn't tied to like a special event or anything. The only prerequisite to getting Arceus and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I'm gonna come back to that. That should be the last thing I talk about, actually. Other special events are just part of base of the game. Like you just have to do like certain things to get them. Like I think one of them actually was like a special event that was like timed, which was like the Shaman event or whatever. Love Shaman. It's one of my favorite mythical Pokemon. It's just like a little bush of leaves, or not leaves, flowers.
It's cute.
It's adorable. I love Shaman. The music, the remastered music, good. Could be better.
I enjoyed it.
It's nice. How far into Pearl are you?
Oh, it's been a long time since I played it. Honestly, I kind of forgot that I have it.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I think like I got another game that popped up, and I just kind of put Pearl to the side. It might have been Elden Ring, actually. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to actually play like there's a lot of games I need to actually get back into. I should definitely get back into Pearl so that we can like battle each other or trade stuff where I can actually give you something of note.
Well, honestly, at this point, if we're gonna play Pokemon together, we should just wait for Scarlet and Violet, which are coming out this year.
That's also true.
Which have full-on co-op in it.
Yeah, that we need to do that.
Absolutely. The one thing I know you do have in your playthrough of Pearl is an Eevee because I fucking gave it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. I got that through Wonder Trade, which is cool. It's you just give like a random Pokemon up for trade and you get something random back. And I got an Eevee, went off, got an Eevee egg, gave you the fresh hatch, which was nice. What starter did you pick?
What? Piplup?
Good choice.
Yeah, Piplup. I had Piplup.
I think you know my answer. I went with Turtwig. Always Turtwig.
Yes, Turtwig is your favorite, isn't it?
Turtwig is the starter Pokemon ever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Brilliant Diamond's what it's called. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. Mediocre remakes, if I'm being honest. Mediocre. But I mean,
as someone who hadn't played it before, I think it's pretty good.
They weren't made by Game Freak. They were actually outsourced to another company to make it.
That's interesting.
Because Game Freak was working on Legends Arceus.
Oh, well.
Probably the best Pokemon game ever.
Bold statement.
That's a statement.
This was with Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Legends Arceus, it was a great time for Pokemon's 4th generation fans, like myself, because that's my favorite gen. Because Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were remakes of Gen 4, and then Legends Arceus is both a prequel sequel to Gen 4.
So it's a pre-sequel.
Well,
prequel, if you will.
Okay, so the game start. This isn't a spoiler because it's the first 5 seconds of the game. It takes place at like in ancient Sinnoh before it was even called Sinnoh. It was called I can't remember what it was called. Hisui, the Hisui region wasn't even called Sinnoh yet, and the player is the trainer from Diamond and Pearl sent back in time.
Ah, fuck.
So that's why I say it's a prequel and a sequel. Because it takes place after Diamond and Pearl, but it also takes place before Diamond and Pearl.
I'd call that a pre-sequel.
So you get sent back in time to where they have like steampunky Pokeballs, not like the stuff you see in like the games or the animes or whatnot. They're like steampunky wooden balls. And people are terrified
You
of
got
Pokemon.
wooden balls?
I know I got wooden balls. That didn't make any sense. But people are scared of Pokemon in Legends Arceus. And like the main goal of the game is you, the player, are to like show people that Pokemon aren't to be feared, that they're to be like loved and like
They're your friends, not food.
Yeah, exactly. So you spend your time doing that. Eventually, evil person does evil things because it's a Pokemon game. There's always evil people. Dialga and Palkia, the legendaries from Diamond and Pearl, get alternate forms, their origin forms, which combine the two of them and Giratina, the third legendary from Gen 4, and their like origin form, and they kind of look like Arceus if you combine them. Cool.
Yeah.
But Legends Arceus probably it has great music. It's an open world game, completely open world. The only loading screen is when you like change maps or like go in buildings. There's like there's no like loading screen between like starting a battle, going into the battle, then ending the battle, back into the game. No screen. There's like nothing. It's perfectly smooth and whatnot. It's got a great story, great music, and it's got the best final battle I've ever seen.
That's also a bold statement.
It breaks the traditional rules of Pokemon. You fight the big bad, like a 6v6 battle, as you would expect, only to be turned around and to fight a 7th Pokemon. You fight Giratina.
Oh boy.
You beat Giratina.
Oh.
And then Giratina comes back for a second fight. So it's a 6v8, and there's no healing in between any of it.
Oh my god.
It's the
I'm
hardest.
back.
It is the hardest Pokemon battle ever. And it's also so perfect, and the music goes so well with it.
So wait, Giratina shows up, you beat Giratina, Giratina goes, I'm dead, just kidding, no I'm not, and fights you again?
Yep. Basically, you fight Giratina, like the big bad like calls for Giratina to come fight you. You fight Giratina, you think it's over, but then Giratina transforms into his origin form, and then you gotta fight him again. And instead of like having 6 big legs, he floats off the ground and has pincer mouth. Kind of.
Oh boy,
terrifying.
It's cool. If you've never seen Giratina, just look up Giratina and
I know
Giratina origin
Giratina.
form.
I want to do this.
Giratina is cool.
I haven't seen origin form though. I know what Giratina normally looks like though.
Or Giratina's origin form was actually introduced in Platinum. I think it was a year after Diamond and Pearl came out. Back when Pokemon still did like the third version, which was like the polished up version of like the games. But Giratina is cool.
Ooh, that's such a cool design.
Yeah, I like that.
It really is. And
Looks
yeah,
like
that's
a
like
big like worm.
Yeah, kind of.
Just like floating.
Kinda, yeah. But that's the final battle of, well, the final, like the end of the story, essentially. You beat the big bad, Giratina twice. Game's not over, obviously, because you can still go catch Giratina and stuff. And then the true end of the game is after you've caught completed the Pokedex for every Pokemon in the game, then you can go catch Arceus. And that's the end of the game.
It'd be weird if you didn't catch Arceus in it.
It would be very weird.
Because Arceus is in the name.
Arceus is like the very last Pokemon you catch, and that's only after you complete the Pokedex for everything else, which does not include just catching everything. The way the Pokedex works in Legends Arceus is that you have to catch everything multiple times to complete the Pokedex entries. I don't know, but it's actually kind of fun having to like spend a lot of time catching Pokemon. And then you can do like mass releases and stuff and not have to do it like one by one like you have in the older games. So like you could just mass release like the 60 Starlies you just went off and caught. But
I guess catching is also easier in it, isn't it?
no, it's about the same.
Oh, really?
I mean, you can do like the back strike, which has a better chance of catching without going into battle, but it's still like going into battle and whatnot.
I've seen a lot of clips of just people throwing Pokeballs at him and just catching him.
I mean, you can, but the battling system is still there. I don't remember if there was a Master Ball in that game either. There probably wasn't. It has a crafting system. People compared it a lot to like Breath of the Wild, and I would agree with that. It's like Pokemon Breath of the Wild.
True, but people do that with every game.
Yeah, but like with Legends Arceus, I can actually see it.
Okay.
I mean, when I first saw it, I was like, "This is like Pokemon Breath of the Wild." So,
that one like screenshot was coming around, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it very much plays like it's similar to like Breath of the Wild, but not like completely copying it.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to catch. I think the whole like story reason behind having to catch multiple Pokemon to complete the Pokedex entries because you got to like actually like the professor actually has to like look at and study the Pokemon, and it's not just like something you unlock once you catch it in your mechanical Pokedex because he has to like write it down and stuff. Because this is all like pre-technology stuff. That's how far back you go.
Stone Age.
Kinda. Like the most advanced thing in Legends Arceus, I would say, is the Pokeball. And it's a wooden steampunk ball. And then their Arc Phone, but that doesn't count.
The Arc Phone.
The Arc Phone is just your smartphone that you brought back from with the future that Arceus blessed. That's a weird thing to say out loud, but that's what it is.
I was gonna say you have God Pokemon blessing your phone.
Yeah, basically. Because I didn't say this at the beginning, but Arceus is the one that threw you backwards in time.
Just
and it's like
he's giving you a fucking like smart. He gives you like an iPhone.
It's like go back in time, catch everything. I don't remember exactly what it says, but it said something as you were going back in time.
Gotta catch them all.
Basically, and I can safely say that Legends Arceus is the only Pokemon game where I've caught them all.
Wow.
Because there was actually a reason to catch them all. There's not really a reason to catch them all in the other games.
Epic.
And then once you catch Arceus in Legends Arceus, you can then go catch Arceus in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. That's the prerequisite. You have to finish the other game to go catch it in the remakes.
That's kind of funny.
That's why.
So unfortunately, Grant, you will probably not ever get Arceus if you cared enough in Pearl because
I mean, I want to try Legends Arceus. So
I would highly recommend it. But if you wanted to get Arceus in Pearl soon, you're not. Because Legends Arceus is a long game, but it's a very fun game.
Yeah.
And that's all I've got.
All right. Well, I think it's time to take a car, turn around, put in reverse, and park back in the Yakuza corner. Because we are back.
Oh, no, it is on your list.
Because I have played 2 games. Not necessarily Yakuza games, but I played Judgment. What was that?
Yeah, I'm just excited because I know this game is stupid in a fun way.
So, pretty much, Judgment takes place in the Yakuza universe. It takes place in the same city, it takes place in Tokyo, but in the same part of Tokyo called Kamurocho. And instead of taking on the role of Kazuma Kiryu, you're taking on the role of Takayuki Yagami, who is a detective, not in the Yakuza. And it takes a totally different spin on it because it's not so much focused on the Yakuza clan or Yakuza business and all that, but it's just taking it's mainly looking at criminal activity overall. So the first one, Judgment, starts out where there's dead bodies that are appearing all over Kamurocho, all weirdly missing their eyes, and
Fucked up.
yeah, and just overall, the plot gets pretty complicated, but it a Yakuza actually. I say it doesn't have much to do with Yakuza, but one of the first suspects of it is this Yakuza boss, or one of the leaders of one of the Yakuza families is accused of it, of being the killer, and so I guess backtrack a little bit. So Yagami, used to be a lawyer. In Japan, there's a super duper like insanely high incarceration rate. Like if you get arrested, there's like a 99% chance that you will be incarcerated, like you will be sentenced and put in jail. And one of the first things that happens in is it tells you his background, and he used to be a lawyer. His first ever case that he took up was a murder trial, which is like almost impossible to overturn. But in his first ever trial ever, he managed to actually change it and get prove the person innocent, which like gave him a lot of notoriety. But then almost immediately after that, the person that he defended in court his girlfriend ended up dead, and her house burned down. He was arrested because he was at the scene, not knowing what happened. And so that pretty much tarnished his legacy as a lawyer. And so that's why he went to being a detective, because everyone thought clearly this guy is a killer. So he was wrong. So yeah. But anyway, so you're a detective and trying to figure out this whole killing spree crime. And you actually go on to defend this. You find enough evidence to prove that this Yakuza boss is not the killer. And you go back to being a lawyer and defend it and get a second person out of being arrested for a murder trial, which is like impossible. But then more as the story goes on, more unfolds, and you find out that this scheme is way bigger than it actually turns out to be at first. A lot more like higher power people, like the government, are involved, and so much stuff going on. Such a really complex story, like all the other games, but all the other Yakuza games, but it's just so well put together. It's just incredible how they can tell really interesting stories in like ways that you never thought that they could. But it wouldn't be a game in the Yakuza universe without the absolute crazy side missions and games. It just keeps the same level of wackiness throughout everything. It kind of changes the side missions in it because it has like this friend system where you know like the side missions are like you try to like make friends with people and like raise their reputation and all that kind of stuff. I think it's 50 people around the map that you can do that with. But like for example, there's these people that come to you. They're like teenagers, and they say that it's a brother and a sister, and the brother is saying that there's someone that is trying to be a peeping Tom on his sister. And hold on, I gotta look it up so I can make sure I get this exactly right. Because
I think I know what you're describing, but go ahead.
Let's see here. I want to see if I can find exactly what this is. What I want to make sure I get this exactly right, just because of how ridiculous it is. So they come to you, and there's someone that they say is after them called the Panty Professor. It's a guy who has gone around the city like stealing people's panties and like all those kind of like they're like hanging them to dry. And pretty much you have to like solve the case and catch the Panty Professor. And later, someone comes to you telling you to catch. This is probably my favorite thing. Telling you to catch Ass Ketchum.
I'm gonna get my Steam name. Hold up.
But it's just like these absolute. This guy is pretty much like, he's like Spiderman. He like peeks into love hotels and tries to get pictures of like people who are, like you know, having sex in love hotels, and it's just like it's like this trio of people who are just absolute perverts. It's just like, but there's I don't know why Teresa is like such a weird. It doesn't like like people don't act like it's weird. Like Yagami is the only person there that like acts like these things are weird.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love when media does that.
Like that's what it's like in like all the side missions, and this it gives you some absolutely ridiculous scenario, but like Yagami is the only person that like actually like is like, what is going on here? um but and then yeah, like that's just an example. But then the brother in that situation later down the line, he says that he has a friend who is a maid at a maid cafe, but isn't very popular because she's really shy. So you can go to your other friends that you make in it, and then suggest to them to go hang out with this girl,
That's nice.
in this maid cafe, so that you can get friendship with her. And so it's like the way that they all combine is really cool. But yeah, that mechanic is really weird, but it's kind of cool at times. There's this game there's this mini game in it that lets you make a ridiculous amount of money. It's like this VR board game. It's like Mario Party without the mini games. It sounds stupid, but it's kind of fun. It gives you seriously like $1 million if you play it, if you beat it. Which I'm like, what kind of business strategy is this? But yeah, that one's great. But overall, like I just Judgment is like a nice breath of fresh air in the series because you're not just dealing with gang drama and all that kind of stuff that happens in all the Yakuza games. It's actually like you actually like see the consequences of people, because like sometimes people just like you'll see people get shot and stuff in Yakuza, and you're just like, well, there's no repercussions for that really, or like ginormous gang fights happen, but like you're actually seeing the law side of it in Judgment. Yeah, it seems almost like a little bit more realistic, I would say. Because it's almost just like stuff that's going on. It's like actually the criminal underworld. It's not like just big gang events happening. But I will transition that into what I would say is now my favorite game of all time.
Before you do, I want to ask something about Judgment really quick.
Yes.
Isn't that I don't know if this is from Judgment or from Yakuza, but and correct me if I'm like making shit up, but is there a point where someone does like a very like minor crime or like doesn't do anything that's all that like too terribly serious, but the main pro tag just like completely just beats the absolute shit out of them?
That's just real life.
Do you remember what exactly it is?
I don't remember what it was. I just remember I think it was from Judgment of just like someone like did like the most like it was like bad but not like the worst thing in existence, but then like the amount of beat down that he got was like completely disproportionate, if I remember right.
There's a lot of times in both where like people will try to scam you and then you just beat the crap out of them. There's a lot of times that's mainly in Yakuza, but yeah, that I mean, there's similar stuff that happens in both of them, and it would not surprise me if someone did something like incredibly. Oh, there is one thing.
Mhm.
One of those side things that kind of like crossover. You go to the sushi restaurant where you find this person who's struggling to get their job, and the chef tells you that they had to fire someone because they thought that they were way better. Like they thought that they were impatient. They were really good at their job, but they wanted to like be on their own more instead of being like watched over and trained and all that kind of stuff. And you can go to this fishing pond and find that all of the guys like the owner of the fishing pond is upset because someone has come to their fishing pond at night, caught all the koi in their fishing pond and turned it all into sashimi. And then as you come to figure out, the person who was who got fired from this sushi restaurant was so upset, and they went to this fishing pond and accidentally dropped like their keys into the fishing pond, and one of the fish ate it. So they fished out all the koi in order to find it, and then they realized, well, there's all this fish here. I gotta cook it. So I just turned it all into sashimi because why not?
Oh my god, that's great.
It's so stupid. But then, yeah, you beat them up at some point because of that.
Nice.
That's usually the solution to many things to many scenarios. But
When you
yeah,
lost your keys, I gotta whoop your ass now.
yeah. Um, but yeah, so that transitions into probably my favorite game ever, and Lost Judgment. Lost Judgment takes pretty much everything from Judgment and improves it somehow, some way. It starts out with a body is found in a building in Yokohama, which is another city in Japan. It came out after Yakuza Like a Dragon, so it has the city from Like a Dragon in it as a whole nother playable free roam area. So a body is found there, and you come to find out that is the body of someone who bullied someone in high school, that the person years ago committed suicide. And it is a video comes out of someone is arrested, like happening at the same time. Someone is arrested on a train for groping a lady, and it's the person who is the dad of the kid who committed suicide. But then there's also a video that came out of a person of that same dad also killing the person at in that building, like recorded and posted online. And so you're trying to figure out how this could happen, and like, because it was supposed to be at the same time, so that he was supposed to have an alibi. Like, he has video of an alibi, but it makes no sense. So you pretty much go to the high school and try to figure out exactly, like, is this guy guilty or not? Is it a video? Is it like, how could this be possible? And so you are, in order to better investigate the school, you are made into a school counselor. And so that gives you free reign to roam the school. And that opens up the entire subplot of the game, which is you joining every single club in the school and doing all those as mini games. So there is a dance club minigame, there is boxing, there's motorcycle racing, you can literally just play Virtua Fighter in fighting tournaments. you can make robots and play like not fight, but play like this mini game with robots that you make. There's like photography club, there's like all this stuff to figure out. This subplot is kind of minor with like the story details, but pretty much there's someone who's trying to get students to do illegal activity called the Professor, and it is apparently all the people involved in those clubs have been linked to taking part in like doing that illegal activity for the Professor and all that kind of stuff. So they're trying to figure that out. But yeah, Lost Judgment, its story is just so, I don't even like know what to say. It actually like really makes you think, what is justice? Not to get into spoilers, but like what is the correct form of justice for people? Is it to like arrest them and have them serve their time in jail? Do people deserve to die for their actions? Do they deserve to be forced to do things that they don't want to do? Like, be forced to do other people's biddings, like be slaves pretty much. And it really like makes you think about that. People say that Judgment overall story is better, but honestly, just like the complexities and how Lost Judgment really makes you think is what made me enjoy it more. And yeah, and of course it still has the over-the-top side stories. It has way more mini games that I spent poured so much time into the mini games, because they're also incredibly fun. You get a dog that can just find stuff for you. You get you can just grind on rails like all throughout town on a skateboard. Like, I don't know. Seriously, I have to recommend Lost Judgment to every single person on the planet. It is incredible.
Sounds rad as shit.
Yeah.
Doug, Yagami just beat the shit out of a bunch of high school kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can just walk up on a bunch of high school students and just beat the ever-living crap out of them. which is really ironic because the game is like has a lot to do with bullying and all that kind of stuff. And so, like in the main story, it's like trying to get you're talking about like these kids who are like getting bullied so much that they're being driven to suicide and all that. Well, then you walk out of school and then you just like uppercut and just beat the ever living crap out of all these high school students. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you're not really fitting in with the entire story here.
What are you talking about? It's a high school experience. Just getting uppercutted outside.
Yeah, like there's some kids that are like kind of pointing and laughing at some kids at the beginning. They just literally just walk up and like start teasing them, and then they get mad at you and they can just fight them. Like what?
All right, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
The average high school experience.
The counselors beat the shit out of a bunch of kids.
yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. But yeah, I seriously cannot recommend that game enough. I would recommend, but you don't have to play Judgment first. Like if you don't want to, you don't have to play Judgment first. But The Lost Judgment is seriously incredible. Soundtrack is awesome in it too. Sadly, there's no karaoke because Japan, the Japanese voice actor for that has a very, very expensive rate to have him sing. So they didn't do that.
Okay.
But yeah, that's Lost Judgment. Seriously incredible. Highly recommend everyone check it out.
With that, I think we're done.
Yeah.
Well, this is the part of the show where we just say where we can find it ourselves. I think.
Yeah.
So thank you all so much for watching. If you want, or well, I guess more so listening. This isn't a video. It's a video, but it's not a video. It's a still image. So thanks for listening. If you're still here after almost 3 hours, holy shit.
I hope we were good background noise.
Yeah, if that's all we really want to be, honestly. If you fall asleep listening to us, then we did our job right.
Though.
Well,
This isn't the place to do that.
no, not really. So, but yeah, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed. We're back. Hopefully, we're gonna try and get this train rolling again. So, if we don't, hold us accountable and we'll do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can find us in various places, all linked down below in the description of the YouTube video because that's the only place this goes. So I'm not going to say go where to find us. You can find us very easily by going down there.
Yes.
Did that make any sense?
I think.
More or less.
Okay. I'm getting to the point where I'm tired, so I don't think I'm making any sense. But
Yeah.
Thanks again for listening. Welcome back to Now Loading. It's good to be back, right?
Pretty good to be back.
Yeah.
We absolutely
I'll
should do
actually
this
have
more
like
often.
more stuff this time.
Yeah. We're not doing anything that'll keep us insanely busy anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Because school's done.
Yeah.
You say that, but I also have to get to. I have to do Witchtober. Fuck.
So for two of us, there's not anything that's going to get in our way.
Well, there was almost something in my way because I almost started streaming before we did this.
Yeah, right.
Stop
yeah,
being a
right.
streamer. There we go.
Just don't stream.
But I enjoy it more than this.
That's fair.
I see. So we're never doing this again.
No, we're gonna do it again. I do want to do this. I just enjoy streaming more. I won't lie. Both things are fun. I just enjoy the one more. Anyways, thanks for listening. We'll catch you next episode. Have a good night, everybody. Or
Yeah.
whatever time it is. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Goodbye.